The clear skies dragon spared no effort to fight, spitting out a green light and white fog, but in the very end, how could it oppose Su Xing's immemorial sword chant in Gongsun Huang? A moment later, the clear skies dragon's star magic could no longer persist. They heard the dragon scream, raising a squall that rolled Su Xing and Gongsun Huang into nearly falling down. The clear skies dragon did not delay. It immediately set forth its slender body into riding the clouds to escape. How could Su Xing allow it to escape? He promptly gave chase. Sword light flashed across 100 li, yet the clear skies dragon's speed was extremely fast. The moment its body moved, it was several hundred li away. This chase fully used several days of Su Xing's time. During these days, every time he almost caught up to the clear skies storm dragon, this storm dragon immediately showed its strength and fought briefly. Besides wasting each other's strength, no one could take down the other. Su Xing did not say anything about this. The immemorial sword chant added to the 5 spirits Law Earth Scroll, Water Scroll, and the Leisure Star number 1 in magic energy. The clear skies dragon staking all of its power and magic energy had no way out, but Su Xing's powers were a bit lacking. To think of relying on these to capture the clear skies dragon the same as dreaming. Both sides were waiting for the first to be unable to continue. This waiting fully used close to 10 days. Compared to the time of subduing any of the previous star beasts, this took much longer. Although the Leisure Star Gongsun Huang's star beast was not strong, its speed was extremely quick, soaring through the clouds and mist, calling wind and summoning rain. To use up all 3 months of Evil Smiting Hall's time, they still would not necessarily be able to settle this. Su Xing was inwardly depressed. Although he still saw that Gongsun Huang was silent as before, from time to time, her wrinkled brows revealed the mood of her heart. On this day, the clear skies dragon ran 1,000 li away and stopped, its mouth bursting with green void light. Its dragon claws tore out wind, rocking Su Xing's flying swords like they were leaves in a violent storm, shaking endlessly. Su Xing and the clear skies dragon again seemingly had that sort of habitual sequence with several hundred exchanges, without showing differences in power. Along with the heaven-sealing stillness hand being broken, the clear skies dragon once again flew through the clouds. Su Xing was already numbly preparing to continue to chase it, when at this moment, Gongsun Huang actually floated into the air, not moving. Su Xing froze, turning around. Little Huang? What's wrong? Gongsun Huang shook her head. Her meaning was that she no longer wanted to pursue it. Isn't that clear skies dragon the star beast you have to capture? Although this clear skies dragon flees rather quickly, there is a limit. To have chased it for so many days and giving up like this is too pitiful. Su Xing consoled her. But your highness does not have much time. Gongsun Huang also knew chasing further like this, besides wasting time, there was no alternative. Acting as the star general number 1 in magic energy, her star beast was absolutely the top in the aspect of speed. The meditative mind lotus seed isn't a problem yet. Su Xing sensed that meditative mind lotus seed in his sea of consciousness had nevertheless already begun to wilt. No more. Gongsun Huang stowed her sword. Seeing Gongsun Huang give up, Su Xing was somewhat embarrassed. Just as he thought of using some way to persuade Gongsun Huang, he suddenly gasped. Originally, he did not know when, but they had already chased it to the ocean. Below was an ocean that stretched as far as the eye could see, blending together with the world. It was exceptionally clear, but this was not what made Su Xing feel shock. What made him feel surprise was that the sea. There was currently a man and woman currently in battle with a giant sea-stirring dragon. That sea-stirring dragon's whole body had no scales, grew 4 horns, and in the sea, it raised heaven-flooding waves, sea-overturning waters, incomparably tyrannical. He saw the hand of that luxuriously dressed woman, held a white knight dragon carving sword directing several bright lights at the mixed seas giant dragon. The other that came with her, the man dressed in black armor, called forth an awe-inspiring ancient demon sword. These demon swords' blackness was dense, an evil wind blowing. Upon the sea, they raised a black evil wind, and the several dozen demon swords endlessly twisted about a black plume, leaving that mixed seas giant storm dragon with no place to hide. The mixed seas giant dragon was not about to be undone as it spat out divine water, sprayed out white light. The seawater became arrows that attacked without discrimination, But it was obvious the mixed seas giant dragon's resistance was growing more and more feeble. Being captured was only a matter of time. In a Star Master capturing a Star Beast situation like this, Su Xing was not at all unfamiliar. If it was before and he had no time to waste, then he would have left, but at this very moment, upon seeing the two, Su Xing's eyes narrowed, and he immediately launched a chilly intent. That man and woman were not just anyone, but the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and his Star General, Longevity Star River Dragon Li Jun. Star Position: Longevity Star Name: Li Jun. 2 Nickname: River Dragon. 3 True Name: Li Xiangfei. Rank: 26 Star Weapon: White Knight Dragon Carving Sword / White Knight Dragon Carving Lance. 3 Star, Star Beast. Realm: 10,000 Techniques. 8th Stage. Innate Skill: Mixed Seas. 5 Elements: Water. Yellow. Rank Special Move: Iron Hooves Treading Mountains and Rivers. Dark. Rank Special Move: White Dragon in Dream. 5 Current Status: Contractor / Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, Little Huang. Let's first rest in the meantime, how about it? Su Xing thoughtfully said. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was someone Su Xing genuinely felt was an enemy. Although he did not feel threatened, he could not be at ease without getting rid of this guy. In their 2 encounters with the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, one was total defeat, and the other complete victory. They were considered even, and the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's conduct and style were particularly loathsome to Su Xing. In handling this sort of person, Su Xing always would not relent. The River Dragon Li Jun also was an extremely powerful magic energy Star General. In battling over water, she would not necessarily be inferior to Gongsun Huang. This also gave Su Xing the thought of seeing who was stronger. Gongsun Huang lowered her head to look, and thus understood Su Xing's plan. The dragon in the clouds nodded. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was currently with Li Xiangfei capturing the Mixed Seas Giant Dragon. For the sake of capturing this dragon, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon and Li Xiangfei had chased it over the seas for a dozen days, spending countless amounts of energy today in order to finally find a chance to force the Mixed Seas Giant Dragon into the upside-down underworld fiend sword array. 6. Time was not lost to determination, and currently, the Mixed Seas Giant Dragon was already at the end of its rope, about to be captured. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon already considered seeing whether or not he could find a few out-of-luck Star Masters to feast on inside Evil Smiting Hall after capturing this Mixed Seas Giant Dragon. Suddenly at this moment, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon sensed danger. In the surroundings, the sea overflowing heaven flooding stormy sea magic circle 7 he had set suddenly broke. The droplets covering the skies shattered, and a heavy rain soared. Raising his head to look, a massive hand of purple chi spread open and grabbed at him. Beside this purple chi giant hand were several does purple lotus flowers. How could the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon dare come into contact? He dodged back and forth, releasing a swathe of black fire that slammed into the purple lotus flowers. In a split second, purple lightning bearing its fangs and claws burst out from inside the black flames. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was shocked. This purple thunder was too familiar. Again at this time, 2 waterfalls poured down from the sky, one green and one gold. They crisscrossed, the green jadeite glistening, as if a Bodhi tree had bloomed. There was clear light, and the golden ones let out a dragon cry. With a golden dragon faintly visible, its claws sharp, its mouth spat cold light. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon sneered. The 9 Phantasms 10 Banes capital demon sword transformed into a black python, opening wide its bloody maw, spitting out a poison light, biting at the green and gold flying swords. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demons 9 Phantasms 10 Banes capital demon sword was also an ancient demon sword. By the sword master's own demon determination, flying sword abilities in addition to the divine intent devouring propulsion, normal flying swords basically could not approach him. Its devouring essence blood could even swallow the sun and moon. Now the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had already practiced the upside-down underworld fiend sword array. His flying sword abilities were far better than they were originally. Like his opponent's flying swords, they appeared out of the ordinary, but the Holy Lord of Draconic Demons still had much faith he could defeat his opponent's life-cast flying swords. By the time the life-cast flying swords were damaged, at that time, the star cultivator connected to them would also necessarily suffer harm. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon already was impatient thinking of seeing his opponent's despairing face. Unexpectedly, this person wanted to take advantage of him. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. Truly, this person acted recklessly. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's thoughts rapidly turned, and he inwardly operated his powers. The 9 phantasms, 10 banes, capital demon sword shadows were layer upon layer. Just when the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was wholeheartedly looking forward to being able to devour the opponent's flying swords, suddenly, he saw those green swords release green light. Bright like light. The moment this clear light flashed, countless arcs of green lightning surrounded the demon swords. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon gasped, and his eyes immediately widened. He saw that his unparalleled ancient demon sword unexpectedly forced into weakness by the green light. The sword lights dimmed incessantly, and the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon only felt his heart hurt. He was suddenly incomparably shaken. Evil suppressing clear light. A flying sword formed from the 10,000-year evil suppressing gem bamboo. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon howled. Hastily he formed hand seals. The 9 phantasms, 10 banes, capital demon sword with its might being restrained by the clear light suddenly disappeared, having returned to his body. The flying swords he raised with so much difficulty, using the flesh and panicked souls of cultivators as feed unexpectedly, were instantly disastrously damaged. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had the thought to skin his opponent alive. We meet again, huh, Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. The newcomer descended from the sky, light as a feather. In midair, descended a youth who harbored evil intentions. Upon this youth's shoulder sat an out-of-the-ordinary little girl. Seeing him, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's pupils contracted, and his face lost its color. Who else could the newcomer be? It was Su Xing. The 24 flying swords of 2 colors whirled around his surroundings, spurting forth a hard-to-imagine pressure, especially the green flying swords. 10,000-year evil suppressing gem bamboo? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's pupils contracted, and he immediately noticed the origins of Su Xing's flying swords. The evil-suppressing clear light, the 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, gave rise to could completely exorcise evil. Only if the difference between the two of them was too large. Otherwise, this practically could be said to be able to restrain all evil under the heavens. Originally, it was because the underworld heavenly sect knew that the heavenly gem valley had such a 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, that they braved the dangers of raiding heavenly gem valley, for the sake of obtaining this 10,000-year evil-suppressing gem bamboo, to take over the Black Turtle territory. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon had heard that after Emperor Liang appeared at Heavenly Gem Valley, it had been snatched away by the Emperor himself. Yet he never expected that it would appear in the hands of the man in front of him. Just who the hell are you? The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's tone sunk, shocked and furious. Shocked because he recognized the Leisure Star Dragon in the clouds Gongsun Huang, for he was incapable of thinking of just where this man popped out of. To be able to contract the Supreme and Magic Energy Gongsun Sheng after contracting the Supreme and Martial Force Yan Qing, this honestly was too far outside of common sense. And he was angry because in any case, he was ranked the best or second best Star Master in the Black Turtle territory. He unexpectedly suffered defeat several times, and even the 2 cracks in his purple star jade pendant were bestowed upon him by his counterpart. The corner of Su Xing's mouth curled into a smile, and he formed a hand seal. The 12 Langya's sword shadows combined, releasing clear light, twisting in all directions towards the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. In handling evil things, Langya was far more effective than heaven tearing. How could the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon dare go directly come into contact? Hurriedly withdrawing, he did not care for the mixed seas giant dragon. It was a pity that evil smiting hall restricted the absolute majority of most of a Star Master's magic weapons. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon rushed to counter, but when Langya saw the 9 phantasms 10 banes capital heavenly demon sword's master, it practically was like seeing a supreme treat. Its sword chi was unstoppable, inconceivable. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's face turned pale. He was in a fluster, losing his mind. The river dragon Li Xiangfei also was unable to handle the mixed seas storm dragon. The white knight dragon carving lance hooked, and the seawater flooded into a large water barrier that covered the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon, cutting off Langia. Only then was the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's life safe. Su Xing again launched Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder. Purple thunder covered, and it immediately surrounded the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's whole body. Purple lightning like golden snakes danced wildly. Li Xiangfei's star crest glowed brightly, and with a loud and clear shout, the white knight dragon carving lance slashed out several white lights to break the purple thunder. Gong Sun Huang snorted, expressionlessly waving the pine-brand ancient sword. In a split second, a hurricane screamed, overturning the seas and waves. Li Xiangfei, taking the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon into consideration, was only blind defense, the layers of rolling sea battling against Gong Sun Huang's star magic. Seizing the fact the two were dueling, the mixed seas giant dragon took the opportunity to escape into the sea. Li Xiangfei's eyes stared at the star beast within her hand flee, her beauty exhibiting slight anger. Gong Sun Sheng, if you have the ability, then fight with this fei to decide a victor. If you have the capability, then decide a victor with your star master. Su Xing craftily smiled. With Langia in hand, because the Holy Lord of Draconic Demons Grand 9 Phantasms Tenbane's capital Heavenly Demon sword had already been restrained to death, it basically could not exert power. It practically wasted an arm of the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon angrily shouted, using the devil smoke shapeshifting to whirl around Su Xing. Li Xiangfei coldly grinned continuously. The ocean raised waves 100 zhang, explosively rising. You do not hesitate to use a flashy move. Gong Sun Sheng calmly answered. Astonishingly, she accepted Li Xiangfei's challenge. The longevity star river dragon Li Xiangfei's long skirt floated. She waved the white knight dragon carving lance. Immediately, she threw the destined weapon, giving a swift shout, and a point of white light like a bright moon in a dark night flickered. That white light was increasingly bright, and when it arrived in front of Gong Sun Huang, it unexpectedly was large as a mountain, with a length of 100 meters. It was seemingly a mountain pressing down on her. A white dragon emitting the starlight of the sun and moon, directly striking at Su Xing's side. The moment the white knight dragon carving lance went out, the seawater immediately sensed an immense pressure, and sunk to reveal an abyss. A gale blew in their faces, forcing them to be unable to open their eyes. Li Xiangfei muttered to herself. The seawater rolled up the white knight dragon carving lance, and the weapon promptly transformed into a giant white dragon that seemingly could swallow the sea and devour the moon. Against this imposing air, Su Xing was about to admire her. Gong Sun Huang was composed. The pine-brand ancient sword in her hand rolled with a cloud light. Multicolored clouds emerged in large numbers, and the seas were tinged with multicolored light across 10,000 zhang. As if sunset had arrived. The pine-brand ancient sword immediately answered the white dragon, striking it. That white dragon was slashed in the head, unsteadily shaking its head and retreating. Li Xiangfei snorted. The seawater seemed to boil, rolling over and over. Under the gesture of the river dragon, it soared and became 1,000 sharp swords. Gong Sun Huang followed a set pattern. Multicolored light again shot out of the sky, condensing into a lotus flower. The petals blossomed and emitted light, battling against the soaring water swords. Gong Sun Huang struck another hand seal, and the blue skies and white clouds again shot out 2 bolts of green chi. One condensed into a green dragon treasure sword, breaking open space, preceding the other's arrival. The other formed a lotus flower green shield, blocking in front of her. Gong Sun Huang's star magic emerged, with Li Xiangfei's star magic just arriving immediately after. Countless streams of water endlessly struck against Gong Sun Huang's defensive lotus flower, the entire seas becoming such a deadly place. The two people, one in the sky, one on the ground, each launched star magic. The two were both star generals with peak magical energy, particularly the dragon in the clouds. Gong Sun Huang's star magic that wrapped the skies and earth, omnipotent. Her star magic was robust enough to be able to directly make top-notch martial generals unable to cope with her. And the longevity star river dragon's innate skill was mixed seas, which controlled the water streams, was the best in the world. No one could compare. and relying on the home terrain of the sea, she actually could compete evenly with Gongsun Huang. This was too close to call. The dragon in the clouds and the river dragon's two dragons dueled, making Su Xing and the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon broaden their own horizons. The pine-brand ancient sword showed multicolored light that enveloped the sky. Its sword chi a long rainbow, linking together in a stretch to cut down Li Xiangfei. The white knight dragon carving lance rose. The white dragon on the lance seemed to do its utmost, spitting out light endlessly to contend against the multicolored light. The white knight dragon carving lance launched a deep white chi bolt after bolt. Several hundred rays of thick to the extreme white rainbows suddenly appeared, tangling against those auspicious lights and ensnaring the pine-brand ancient sword. The two heavenly stars' star weapons were back and forth, stop and go, battling without rest. At this time, waterfalls fell from the sky, accompanied still by a screaming gale, suddenly opening then closing. It blew Li Xiangfei like a surging storm. Gongsun Huang's words came with the magic, and the two severed multicolored lights transformed into two short swords that intersected with each other and bit into Li Xiangfei's body. The river dragon's beautiful body practically squirmed. Gongsun Huang poked the sword, the multicolored light burned, and she chopped Li Xiangfei's body in half. The bodies of star generals were indestructible, so of course these two pieces that should have been halves did not separate, but immediately afterwards, azure light surged. The moment they combined, it wrapped around Li Xiangfei's whole body. Again it burned, and before Li Xiangfei could react, with a groan, she was then killed off by Gongsun Huang. The skies and seas suddenly restored their tranquility. The duel between the river dragon and the dragon in the clouds finally ended in Gongsun Sheng's victory. Li Xiangfei wanted to use this chance to surprise attack and kill Gongsun Huang, but how could she have anticipated that she would be counterattacked and even be counterkilled by Gongsun Huang? By the time that Li Xiangfei recovered her senses, it was already too late. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's eyes stared at his own star general being killed, and his insides seemed to tear. He looked at Su Xing, resentful to the bone. His mouth loudly called out the four words, "Damned, purple, thunder, monster." His mouth spat out essence blood, and the essence blood congealed and transformed into a long saber. Then he raised that long saber to attack the Su Xing in front of him. That saber was quite thick and broad, its edge slashing with a golden crack and inlaid with bloody gems. The large saber slashed, and immediately they heard sinister ghostly weeping. Astonishingly, it was the ranked 94th level Star Iron Arm Kai Fu's destined star weapon, dragon-breaking bloody slaughter saber. 2. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon was nearly driven mad by Su Xing. If he knew that Su Xing had Lin Chang's battle doctrine innate skill, this close-quarters battle would undoubtedly bring shame upon himself. Not just him, but even an average earthly star could not help it. Seeing the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon deliver himself to his doorstep, Su Xing was not in the least courteous. Langia appeared and he raised up the sword. The flying sword's sword light was dazzling. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon shouted, "That dragon-breaking bloody slaughter saber slashing." A powerful force just like a mighty heaven-overflowing sword slashed horizontally, powerful as 1,000 galloping cavalry, insufferably arrogant. The air suddenly shook, and immediately afterwards, the evil-suppressing clear light was completely shaken apart by the sword's imposing air. To be able to possess such tyrannical power, no wonder the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon would dare to stake everything. Die. Seeing Su Xing rush over, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon shouted in contortment, his figure swaying, leaping and slashing, his sneer mighty. The airflow concentrated on the saber immediately was seemingly substantial, its saber chi sweeping across. When it drew near Su Xing, a saber chi like an arrow lost from a bow rushed in. Superb battle instincts could let him avoid these chi. His eyes flashed with lightning, and instantly, Su Xing already was beside the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon waved his palm, and a black fire crackled. The cold light following the blade violently fired, forming the shape of a rolling dragon, with power violent as wildly swelling waters. It had a metal that swallowed the mountains and rivers. In an instant, It seemed to arrange an incorporeal defense around the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's whole body. Su Xing formed hand seals, and his flying sword simultaneously slashed, shaking the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon's dragon-breaking bloody slaughter saber backwards to no end. His finger flicked, and purple thunder linked together, bombarding an assault. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon raised the dragon-breaking bloody slaughter saber, and a blood-colored light suddenly burst forth. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon also knew that he was too impulsive, unexpectedly thinking of staking everything against the purple thunder monster. He sobered up, immediately pulled back, and he then placed the dragon-breaking bloody slaughter saber in front of his chest. He slashed. All of a sudden, bloodlight blossomed. The sounds of breaking dragons echoed, and the space in front of him was a pouncing blood shadow. Yellow rank saber technique. Blood dragon edge dance. 3. When Su Xing saw it was a destined star weapons technique, he did not dare be careless. Just as he thought of putting his hands together to use his flying swords as a shield to block this, just at this moment, Gongsun Huang's pine-brand ancient sword flicked. It shook out multicolored light, which wound about and battled the bloody dragon edge dance. The 94th ranked Iron Arm Kai Fu's yellow rank saber technique was easily broken apart. Su Xing took advantage of this to link his sword together. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon turned pale with fright. Anxiously, the demon smoke activated, yet his shoulder was run through. By the time Su Xing fired Langia, the Holy Lord of Draconic Demon no longer dared to delay any longer, shattering the evil smiting writ and escaping without a trace. Su Xing shook his head, somewhat regretful about having such an opportunity, but since this was the ocean, which was the river dragon Li Jun's home turf, to be able to strike her down already was considered a surprise. The Holy Lord of Draconic Demon fleeing was within reason. Nevertheless, Gongsun Huang and Li Xiangfei's duel made Su Xing feast his eyes. With the superb maneuvers of two star generals, Su Xing in comparison was a bit terrible. Little Huang, let's go find the clear skies dragon. Su Xing called, again readying himself. Gongsun Huang stowed the pine-brand ancient sword, landing very softly back onto Su Xing's shoulder. Her body was light as a feather, virtually weightless. Su Xing saw that Gongsun Huang was somewhat hesitant, leaving him feeling confused. Don't worry, I naturally have a plan for the meditative mind lotus thing. Su Xing comforted her. Let us go back. Gongsun Huang softly said. Don't say this sort of talk anymore. If I don't help you capture the clear skies dragon, I won't go out. Su Xing was resolute, absolutely determined. Gongsun Huang pondered for a moment. Sister Mei wouldn't be so bold. Shi Yuan stared wide-eyed. Let alone the thief star, perhaps no one would have believed it. Wu Xinjie smiled, silent, gazing at Lin Mei somewhat thoughtfully. As if she had heard their conversation. Wuxia was briefly unsteady, and nearly was knocked off her mount by the Arctic star serpent spear. The harm star stared at Lin Mei. The girl completely lacked expression, and Wuxia suddenly leapt and slashed. Her intimidating air was like a rainbow. Just at this moment, the Void Immortal's abode cracked. Su Xing and Gongsun Huang simultaneously returned. You returned so quickly? Wu Xinjie was hoarse. Young lord, you are so quick. Su Xing and Gongsun Huang emerging so quickly honestly made Wu Xinjie somewhat surprised at this turn of events. Because she pertained to dragons, the dragon in the clouds Gongsun Sheng's nickname was the hardest to seize. In no more than 10 days, this truly was unreasonably fast. Originally, Wu Xinjie had thought there would be 2 more days at the bare minimum before they came out. Su Xing, and what star general did you bump into this time? Shi Yuan curiously asked. To be able to return so quickly could only be because they joined hands with another star master or star general. Not only did Shi Yuan think of this, the other girls also felt as such. Their excitement did not persist for too long, for when they saw Su Xing's bitter smile, all of the girls stopped. Just what the hell happened? Shi Yuan blinked. Elder sister little Huang, just what sort of star beast did you catch? Gave up. Gongsun Huang expressionlessly spat out these 2 words. What? The inside of the immortal's abode was suddenly greatly shocked. Give up? Why? Could it be Master encountered a formidable star general? Yan Yizhen this time was incapable of understanding. All of them directed their gazes at the two. This was something I decided without asking. Gongsun Huang seemed not at all inclined to explain much. Wu Xinjie also forced a smile. Little Huang, perhaps you felt because there was not enough time that you would do this? The distance to the Buddha Kingdom's Feast of All Souls was only a short several days, leaving perhaps not much time for Su Xing's meditative mind lotus, and Gongsun Huang's star beast was considerably difficult to capture. 10 days' time was far from enough. If she gave up like this, it was forgivable, but it somewhat made them regretful. Then it seems we can only think of something after we go to the Buddha Kingdom. Wu Xinjie said. Evil Smiting Hall's rules were that Evil Smiting Hall would be open for 3 months' time. Any star general that entered Evil Smiting Hall was unable to leave before 3 days had passed. After 3 days passed, if they still were in a situation where they had not captured a star beast, then they could still enter in the second month. In other words, each star general had 3 chances to enter Evil Smiting Hall. Although Gongsun Huang gave up this time, it could not be said she did not have a chance. But succeeding upon entering once, reportedly, the level of agreement between star generals and star beasts would be even more psychic. Of course, this was only a legend. But the star duels inherently would not slip up on any details. Since this was a legend, many star generals still were willing to capture a star beast within the first month. Seeing the ranked 4th Gongsun Huang unexpectedly so resolute in giving up on a star beast, this was contrary to reason. The knowledge star lowered her body and kissed Su Xing. Their tongues intertwined for a long while. Su Xing's hands wandered over the girl's body, engaging in dubious activity like this for some time. Su Xing certainly did not forget the important thing, and he smiled. All right, let's go find your star beast first. Xinjie is fine as long as she has young lord. Star beasts are all floating clouds. Wu Xinjie licked her lips, and her expression hung a lewd smile. Su Xing began to sweat when he heard that. Young lord, are you hiding something from Xinjie? Wu Xinjie ambiguously winked. What could I ever hide from you? Su Xing smiled. Young lord, do you still remember the matter when we originally found the noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Ling? Wu Xinjie's charming eyes were like silk. Su Xing nodded. Wu Xinjie's tone was increasingly lovely. Chai Ling has spoken about the affairs of that day. Young lord is so cruel for hiding it from Xinjie. The affairs of that day? Su Xing for a time was unable to react. Wu Xinjie feigned coquettish anger. Young lord, the yin-yang lovemaking powder. Ah! Su Xing was mute. Young lord, it would better for us to use it. Maybe it can help young lord blossom that meditative mind lotus. Wu Xinjie chuckled. Her cheeks slightly red, her eyes craftily roaming. This is a bit too bad. Su Xing somewhat awkwardly laughed. Why is it too bad? Wu Xinjie was confused. Because so that, Su Xing fake coughed several times, his expression full of, you understand. Wu Xinjie's mouth hung open, tongue-tied. She lifelessly asked. Could it be that young lord truly used it with Yingmei first? Su Xing nodded. Although Lin Yingmei did not want other people to know about this matter, paper could not smother fire. Hiding this any longer was not too possible. How could this be? Wu Xinjie was somewhat dejected, somewhat complex. She originally had even wanted to be the early bird that caught the worm. Little did she know. A wise person that reflected 100 times could still make a mistake. How could she not have thought that the ordinarily most reserved Lin Yingmei would be this bold? Wu Xinjie's thoughts rapidly turned. Lin Yingmei being called the first wife was not for nothing. In normal times, her relationship with young lord was also the best. This was only logical. Wu Xinjie gloomily sighed. All right, don't be dejected. Finding your star beast first is more urgent. Su Xing kneaded her face, consoling her. Only then did Wu Xinjie have no choice but to get up off of Su Xing's body, her mouth still grumbling about going to seek out Chai Ling for another bottle. Su Xing could not help but laugh. Young lord, then can you tell Xinjie about the thing between you and little sister Yingmei? Xinjie truly somewhat cannot imagine it. Wu Xinjie smiled. Along the road, Su Xing summarized the encounter he and Lin Yingmei had in Evil Smiting Hall. Finding out about the whole story, Wu Xinjie could only sob that everything was destined. Originally, when she knew that Su Xing had the yin-yang lovemaking powder, she was even secretly delighted, thinking that Lin Yingmei would not be a problem at all. Little sister Yingmei honestly is worthy of being called young lord's first wife. Without the yin-yang lovemaking powder, Wu Xinjie did not think of this sort of thing any further. The top priority was still to first go find her star beast. The knowledge star's star beasts were considerably interesting. In actuality, during the previous 8th generation star duels, the knowledge star's captured star beast always was the phoenix feather unicorn horn. There naturally was a reason connected to the one who was ranked 3rd. The star beasts of the single-digit heavenly stars were always very difficult to capture. Regardless of whether it was the extreme ice environment of Lin Yingmei's snow-walking frost-eye beast or Gongsun Huang's clear skies storm dragon, capturing them would require maximum favorable circumstances. Furthermore, the rank 3rd knowledge star also was so. Although she was not a martial 4-star general, and was without the slightest bit of magic, the knowledge star's star beast completely did not lose out to any of the sisters. However, this time Wu Xinjie actually completed ample preparations. Beforehand, she had investigated all of the materials of her own star beasts. The same evening they arrived in Evil Smiting Hall, Wu Xinjie raised her head to survey the stars. Although the knowledge star was not too good at laying down magic circles, as for the sun, moon and stars, the knowledge star possessed certainly clear understanding. Thus, she used the stars to plan. On the second day, Wu Xinjie found the star beast. In the mountain forest, there was a white shadow moving back and forth, leaving afterimages in succession. Su Xing and Wu Xinjie urged the flying sword hastily in pursuit. The white shadow's speed was extremely quick. It was wrapped in a fog, its shape practically obscured, but it occasionally spat out a white foxfire that glared into their eyes. The white foxfire soared, transforming into a vortex, rumbling as it had approached to strike them. Langya was called forth, emitting a clear sound. The foxfire and flying swords entangled each other, immediately rolling out a white pillar of fire. A fox cry poured into their ears. That white light all of a sudden let out several fox shadows that pounced right towards them. Su Xing struck a hand seal, and a clear hand of purple qi directly grabbed it. The white fox shadows let out several howls. Immediately, the specters were ripped apart. And at this time the white light escape, already running down the mountain. Is this one of your star beasts, Xinjie? Su Xing let out a breath. And the white shadow demon fox. This is one of the few star beasts Xinjie knows. It is the easiest to capture. Wu Xinjie forced a smile. The data on the star beasts the previous knowledge stars capture honestly was too lacking. The reason was that knowledge was impermanent, and the star beasts were also elusive. The several 2 or 3 star beasts that were captured were all ordinary. The best was this white shadow demon fox, which was also one of the most rarely seen for the knowledge star. But they did not expect that the white shadow demon fox considered the most ordinary would be such a wily fox. Careful, young lord, this white shadow demon fox is somewhat not too suitable. Wu Xinjie suddenly said gravely. Su Xing nodded, also noticing this white shadow demon fox was somewhat odd. Although it was being hunted down, it seemed to stop and attack from time to time, occasionally fleeing as if it was luring Su Xing into entering hell. Before he could think any more, suddenly, the surrounding scene immediately opened up, and a giant waterfall appeared in front of him. Just at this moment, an extremely powerful pressure came pressing down onto Su Xing and Wu Xinjie from the skies. This is bad. This place has a space restricting forbid dance. Su Xing froze. Suddenly, Su Xing and Wu Xinjie fell into the waterfall. A formless power pressed Su Xing and Wu Xinjie downwards. In that instant, all of their star energy suddenly was seemingly sucked clean away, their bodies uncontrollably dropping down the waterfall. The sounds of water splashing was enormous. The 100-jong waterfall was just like a beast opening its bloody maw. In the blink of an eye, the two's figures were swallowed clean. That white shadow demon fox transformed into a white light that actually hung suspended in the air unaffected. Its 2 fox eyes spun around, and then it flashed out a white light, plunging into the water and immediately disappearing. Not long after, the water's surface suddenly broke apart. A youth suddenly burst out, taking in deep breaths. The nearly full of water Su Xing displayed a fish in the water adaptability and swam to the shore. Xinjie. After Su Xing climbed ashore, he did not see Wu Xinjie's figure. Immediately he was somewhat panicked, promptly activating his divine intent to scan for her. His powerful divine sense enveloped a range of several hundred meters. He did not know whether Wu Xinjie had been washed downstream, for Su Xing could not detect any trace of Wu Xinjie in the vicinity. His heart inwardly worried. He thought of using wandering the clear skies, but he had hardly left several chi off the ground when the perimeter around him suddenly exerted pressure that made him incapable of advancing one bit. Su Xing made himself calm down. If he carefully thought, Wu Xinjie had a contract with him, and her star body was indestructible. As long as he himself was fine, she also would be unhurt. It was just that the sudden severance of his connection with her made Su Xing somewhat unable to soothe his worries. He called forth his unstoppable flying swords to devastate the forest in his search. Just when Su Xing was most urgently seeking for Wu Xinjie's whereabouts, suddenly, there was a shrill scream that tore apart the air. In the calm evil-smiting hall, it was clear enough to be ear-piercing. Su Xing's heart thumped hard, for this was Wu Xinjie's voice. Not good. Su Xing immediately sensed danger, promptly chasing after the sound of that voice. The frightful screams of terror were increasingly close. A powerful imposing air currently rolled towards him. 24 flying swords transformed into the two colors of green and gold as they crisscrossed to form a sneak attack. Then he heard a huala, and Su Xing broke through the forest, just happening to catch sight of a slim figure fleeing in his direction at lightning speed. That girl was none other than knowledge star resourceful star Wu Xinjie. And behind her were the shadows of 3 blood demons currently in high-speed pursuit, occasionally spitting out sword-like bloodlight. Impressively, these were blood-colored demon foxes known as blood demon. Master. Wu Xinjie cried out in pleasant surprise the moment she spotted Su Xing. The 3 blood demons' bodies suddenly warped. They bared their fangs, throwing out a stifling bloody and burning swordlight directly at them. These blood demons at best were not worth capturing. Su Xing actually did not fear these guys, but because he took Wu Xinjie into consideration, he had no choice but to hold back his movements. First, he sought out 12 flying swords to protect Wu Xinjie, and then the other 12 Langya knocked into the bloodlights. The blood demons made fox cries, urging the blood-colored swordlights to pounce. These blood demon foxes were very cunning. They knew that a star cultivator's greatest weakness was close quarters. Therefore, they prepared for close combat, but they greatly underestimated Su Xing's close quarters capabilities. A lightning flash-like palm waved. It slammed into the frontmost blood demon. This blood demon howled in anguish. Its bloodlight suddenly shattered, and it seemingly fell to pieces. Apparently, it sustained a significant injury. The blood demon indignantly opened its mouth. Blood wind like blades wrapped around the 2 people. Su Xing's figure suddenly stopped. An enormous noise came from the ground underfoot. With a seemingly sudden explosion, a big crevasse opened up opposite of where Su Xing stared. His person already shot over like a cannonball, and while in midair, Su Xing's 10 fingers flicked. Countless purple cloud lightning and thunders brought a swift and severe whistle, as they shot towards the other blood demons. This was the Earth Book's purple cloud sword transformation art. Several blood demons bared the blades of bloodlight, battling against the purple thunder. This was the so-called crush one by one. Seizing this opportunity, Su Xing aimed at a charging blood demon, crossing over a distance of several steps instantly. First of all, it was a heavy palm strike, and afterwards was a series of violent strikes. That blood demon let out a bloodlight that wrapped around him, but his fist's power unexpectedly came alive and tore apart the bloodlight. Immediately afterwards, Su Xing's wrist shook, and the divine sword of the 1,000-year contract flipped out. It stabbed towards the blood demon's chest. Just as he was about to run this blood demon through, a peculiar light appeared in Wu Xinjie's eyes. She called out, "Xinjie asks young lord to not hurt them." Su Xing's brows rose, and the sword light retracted. A purple lightning dragon capture seized this blood demon. When the remaining blood demons saw its comrade had been captured, they let out strange fox howls. The blood demon's figures transformed 1,000 times bigger, covering the skies and earth. Their imposing aura could be said to be more than terrifying, and the valley surged wildly. Su Xing formed a hand seal. The flying swords whirled, blossoming. The air raged with the crisp sound of a bell, just like the surface of water had been parted. His vigorous silhouette was just like a fluttering bird in between those blood demons. He brazenly charged forth, his speed swift, practically pulling himself into a thin black line. Just at this moment, Purple Mansion Immortal Thunder exploded to form a ripple. Just as it was rippling, in the completely empty air, these frightful ripples mixed in a concentrated electric current that made their hearts palpitate, the might abnormally powerful. In only an instant, the surroundings were enveloped within. The blood demon fox shadows filling the sky successively were broken, and among them, one blood demon angrily screeched. Its mouth opened. Its maroon shadow shook several times, and a pitch-black shining enormous lance already appeared and launched out of its mouth. These blood demon foxes indeed were pretty good, managing the quickest reactions. A killer move was immediately sent up. If it was anyone else, perhaps they would be caught unprepared. But Su Xing already was ready. Suddenly, with a thunder-like cry, the dark blood the blood demon spat became a lance, already transforming into pitch-black lightning, wildly pouncing at Su Xing. The world was suddenly crammed full of an ear-shattering scream. The surrounding airflow instantly was affected by this immense change. Simultaneously rushing toward Su Xing, looking from far away, this bloodlight was just like a long fox shadow. The 12 heaven tearings shook out with a rumbling dragon cry, smalling together against the bloody fox shadow. Heaven tearing twisted. The light of the blood fox was promptly shattered. Go. And just at this moment, Su Xing struck a hand seal. The other 12 Langya's glistening green light immediately exterminated the other blood demons. A moment later, Su Xing and the blood demons fought several dozen bouts. The final blood demon howled in grief, transforming into a bloodlight to escape. Su Xing also did not feel like chasing it. First of all, he anxiously went to see whether or not Wu Xinjie was all right. In the face of Su Xing's worry, Wu Xinjie very rarely did not tease, but she stared blankly, saying in astonishment, "Young lord, could it be you have forgotten? We are indestructible. There is no need for young lord to worry about Xinjie so much. Even the slightest scratch will make this young lord very hurt. How can I not be worried?" Su Xing shook his head. Wu Xinjie opened her mouth and was tongue-tied. Su Xing smiled. "You being this shocked makes me feel very hurt, haha." Wu Xinjie also smiled. Watching Su Xing so carefully help inspect her, that penetrating expression lost its ambiguity and gained some complexity. A moment later, everything was fine. Only then did Su Xing calm down. He looked around at the surrounding scene, muttering to himself, "This place is honestly weird, to even have a forbid dance." It seems that the knowledge star is somewhat thorny, as expected. When the currently staring blankly knowledge star heard Su Xing's words, her eyes rolled, showing a crazy charm. "Young lord, it would be better to give up on the star beast." Xinjie also is not very concerned. "I know you are worried about my meditative mind lotus flower, however, do not say anything more about giving up. Let's go find that white shadow demon fox first." Su Xing thoughtfully said, "Ha, unexpectedly using a trap. I'm actually somewhat interested in that white shadow demon fox." And Wu Xinjie said sweetly. At this time, who knew where the white shadow demon fox had escaped to? Relying on its crafty intellect, Su Xing also did not truly hope to be able to find it. His heart was somewhat regretful, yet at the same time he could only direct his hope to searching for other star beasts. The knowledge star's star beasts were all cunning, regardless of whether it was the white shadow demon fox or the blood demons. Although in a direct confrontation they completely were incapable of handling Su Xing's flying swords and powers, but their dangerous plans made Su Xing helpless. After walking for half a day, Wu Xinjie grew tired. When they passed by a clean lake, Wu Xinjie suddenly mentioned that she wanted to bathe. Su Xing did not have any objections, and he took charge of helping stand guard for her. The rustling sound of clothes falling came from that side. Su Xing then concentrated his attention to be alert about his surroundings, also seeing whether or not he could find the tracks of the Knowledge Star's star beast at the same time. "Young lord, will you not bathe together with Xinjie?" Wu Xinjie's charming voice came over. "I actually want to, however, it's better to talk about that later. I certainly can't hold back." Su Xing chuckled. "Young lord speaks so directly." Wu Xinjie giggled. The two chatted for a while when, all of a sudden at this time, Wu Xinjie let out a startled screech. Su Xing froze. Without any hesitation at all, he rushed over, only to see Knowledge Star Wu Xinjie currently smiling seductively as she looked at him. Water trailing down her absolutely naked body. A glimpse of something intimate. Her skin snow-white enough to be somewhat glaring. Before, he had no shortage of doing ambiguous things with Wu Xinjie, but this look still made Su Xing's blood vessels swell, his yang fire ignite. Although the two had done many brazen things and even nearly took things too far, the secrets of her body long seen, the Wu Xinjie in front of him still was full of an unimaginable charm. Seeing that expression so alluring, her vermilion lips and twin peaks, her enchanting secret place, her fine black hair moistened with dew, every frown and smile was extremely lovely. 3. This still was the first time Su Xing had ever seen Wu Xinjie in such an alluring pose. "Young lord, Xinjie just spotted a demon fox just now." Wu Xinjie pounced into Su Xing's embrace, yet her hand very dishonestly wandered downwards. Su Xing muttered, embracing Wu Xinjie with one hand. His divine intent swept, not finding a single trace of the demon fox's figure anywhere. "You must be punished for deceiving your young lord." Su Xing twitched his lips. 3. "Oh, your servant has no one to rely on and can only allow young lord to punish her." Wu Xinjie's expression was seductive, her tone like silk. Su Xing quivered. How could he endure Wu Xinjie being like this? Then moving his hand, out flew 24 flying swords that revolved in the surrounding several dozen meters, forming a light barrier that blocked off outside gazes. With that sweet and graceful body in his embrace, her warm fragrance lingering, he lowered his head, and this kiss actually made Wu Xinjie briefly somewhat stiff. However, at this moment, Su Xing did not care about this detail. Very quickly, their tongues hooked around each other, exchanging saliva, engaging themselves in a deep kiss. A moment afterwards, Wu Xinjie already panted heavily, her lovely eyes blurry. "Young lord, that place of yours is so naughty." 3. Wu Xinjie softly pressed against Su Xing. Su Xing sucked on that impressive redness, and his hands did not hold back in kneading that girl's sensitive place. "Xinjie, you truly are very frightening." Su Xing muttered, somewhat unable to hold back. "Make love like fishes in water. Your cheeks and lips are dyed with my scent for life." Wu Xinjie lowered her head and sweetly smiled, an odd craftiness flashing across her eyes. When Su Xing heard these words, his lust immediately vanished for the most part. Although his relationship with Wu Xinjie could break through to the final step at any time, at this moment, the star beast was right in front of them. What was more important was that since there was obviously a sacred medicine like the yin-yang lovemaking powder, continuing to do this sort of disadvantageous thing was very unwise. "Young lord." Wu Xinjie sensed something amiss with Su Xing, and she showed surprise. "It's best we don't waste time. Let's go find your star beast," Su Xing said. He waved his hand, and a green light wrapped around them. Could it be that young lord does not want Xinjie? Wu Xinjie was perplexed. Su Xing sensed that Wu Xinjie was somewhat off. Today's Wu Xinjie appeared especially charming. Perhaps her loveliness already could not describe her, and seductive would be somewhat more appropriate. Su Xing somewhat burned with desire. Thinking that perhaps it was because of Lin Yingmei and the yin-yang lovemaking powder, Su Xing did not think about it too much. Putting on her clothes, Wu Xinjie stared at Su Xing, her expression brimming with confusion. Su Xing felt that Wu Xinjie's expression was very odd. He smiled. "What's the matter? Why does young lord not want Xinjie? Is Xinjie not stirring enough?" Wu Xinjie said. "What are you thinking? Let's go find your star beast first. The little whirlwind is still waiting." Su Xing smiled. Wu Xinjie was pensive. "Young lord, Xinjie knows where there is still another of your servant's star beasts, but it is very formidable. Does young lord wish to go try it?" "Perfect." Su Xing nodded. To be able to have a readily available star beast, this indeed could not be better, so as to avoid squandering time going to search for it. Good. Wu Xinjie narrowed her eyes, oddly chuckling. A maiden like cold as ice and frost stood against the wind. Her pupils approached the coldness of snow. On her head was a three-pronged hat, a clump of timely snow at the top. On her body was steel plate armor, draped with 1,000 pinpricks of frost. Her white robes glowed with the light of the sun. The silver flowers she wore were close to the moon. In her hand swung a cold halberd of twisted silver, and her back was full of white clothes and white armor, making the girl's curves extremely highlighted. Her appearance was cold enough to break ice, but she nevertheless was exceptionally attractive. In front of the girl was a white jade treasure horse. It had blue eyes, skin like ice jade, cold hooves. This beast was known as the winding jade ice silver beast, also a rare mount among the star beasts. The girl was expressionless. Her hand hefted the sky piercer, which splattered cold ice. The winding jade ice silver beast stamped and whinnied, its four hooves like iron arms, bursting with two resplendent cold lights. The ice-cold lights instantly drew near, but in that split second when they approached, the girl's figure already disappeared. Just like ice and snow passing by a mirror, a cold wind at this time already stuck into the winding jade ice silver beast's side. That crystalline sky piercer carved out a cold light that rapidly closed in. Winding jade ice silver beast was a star beast that could be captured by both heavenly stars or earthly stars. Just this point was something normal star beasts absolutely could not compare to. Under the cold light, the winding jade's body released countless petal-like cold lights in layers. Its silhouette was like a phantom. In no more than an instant, it had already forced apart the young girl's attack. There was a neigh that was bone-chilling. The winding jade ice silver beast's blue eyes flashed with a cold light, and instantly, it threw itself over directly in an assault that already arrived right in front of the maiden. The girl still hung a perhaps disdainful or apathetic expression. The sky piercer activated a halberd technique, and with a half-spin to dodge, she brilliantly evaded the winding jade treasure horse's charge. Afterwards, she seized the chance to go on the offensive. That sky piercer carved out an ice-cold arc, and space seemingly froze. The sky piercer emitted a star energy that concentrated into an astonishing yellow rank technique. But the girl's yellow rank technique could only shallowly penetrate half an inch in the winding jade ice silver beast's surroundings, unable to enter further. A sort of grinding cold light firmly grabbed hold of the girl's weapon, making it unable to proceed further. That cold chi around the winding jade ice silver beast's whole body was like its strongest ability. Cold light permeated its body, shooting in all directions at the same time, covering everything. In the air around the winding jade ice silver beast, the naked eye could see layers of fractures. The girl evidently knew the might of this sort of ability. Without any delay, she stepped back, her figure already withdrawing far away. Under that sort of power, stopping any further just now would have brought great danger. In that instant she avoided its attack. The winding jade ice silver beast's hooves dashed in a rush towards her. The cold light its body rolled seemed to transform into claws and fangs that were brandished to seize the girl, carving out a violently cold wind in the earth. Those cold winds bit at the girl's flesh, bone and body. The girl swung the sky piercer, executing every sort of halberd technique. The sky piercer twisted with cold wind, and the winding jade ice silver beast's abilities in a confrontation. The ice-cold attacks of both sides soundlessly traded blows, fought and tore at each other. The young girl's ice-cold blue pupils finally showed slight battle intent. She coldly shouted. Along with her voice, the girl kicked with her leg, and her body was just like a phoenix spreading its wings. Space immediately broke apart, and at the same time, with the winding jade ice silver beast as the center, a mournful ice and snow suddenly appeared. The environment became an ice-cold hurricane. The sky piercer shook. The girl's figure swayed. Incorporeal ice and snow fragments immediately rose sharply, becoming a terrifying twisting storm that flew lightning quick at the winding jade ice silver beast. An ear-piercing whistling noise immediately became the only sound that existed in the air. The winding jade ice silver beast curled into a ball. The girl's figure instantly arrived, and raising the polearm in her hand, the sky piercer's ice light penetrating, a chill mixed with the girl into one, enough to raise terror in the heart of any living thing. A sharp light tore open the air. That glittering cold light practically made any person unable to take their eyes off her. A cold light appeared in the air, and this cold light scattered, becoming countless fragments that all attacked the winding jade ice silver beast. There was no chance for gaps or leeway at all. This blinding light seemingly froze time with only the girl moving about. Her speed was fast beyond the human eye, pouring light and shadow in torrents onto the world instantly and shattering, twinkling with a blurry tinge. This was the girl's dark rank technique. 1,000 years cold nights left long. 2 ding. 3 a crisp sound. Woman and beast interlocked, and the ice cold to ruthlessness winding jade ice silver beast, and the ice cold to the realm girl violently slammed into each other. The ice and snow on the winding jade ice silver beast's body blew apart, as if they had become countless specters. Bang! There was a severe jolt, and a figure flew out of the starlight. Astonishingly, it was the girl. A trail of blood flowed from her mouth. The girl's dark rank technique was unexpectedly broken, but she did not show the slightest expression. Still, she was cold and a bit non-committal. Immediately afterwards, she was cold all over. The power of the winding jade ice silver beast's whole body exploded, and its hooves heavily pressed onwards. This trampling perhaps would gravely injure her if it did not kill her. And at this time, because the young girl used her dark rank technique, she already was unable to dodge. Under this heavy assault, suddenly a silhouette flashed in front of the girl. That speed honestly was like a steed passing by, a fleeting flash. The winding jade ice beast stepped on nothing. It indignantly whinnied. A melodious instrumental voice suddenly sounded out, like countless heavenly women drawing. A wyvern's shadow spun around the winding jade ice silver beast, and that sound was like decadent music, sublime. Even the winding jade ice silver beast began to become dizzy. The cold light then dwindled. Is elder sister all right? Qingxi faintly smiled. Schwerer straddled the winding jade ice silver treasure horse, extended her hand in invitation, and Qingxi helped herself get on the horse. The winding jade ice silver treasure horse whinnied, splashed ice and snow, and then soared into the sky, flying off somewhere. At this time, Su Xing did not know that the knowledge star had been targeted by Qingxi. On the contrary, he felt the Wu Xinjie in front of him was somewhat odd. Although the Wu Xinjie before him was still familiar, he always felt something was not quite right, but he could not say what. Along the way to finding her star beast, Wu Xinjie always covertly enticed him, as if she was not willing to let herself remain virgin. This made Su Xing feel very odd because although the Wu Xinjie in his impressions was indeed fond of being sensual, she would take the big picture into consideration. She knew what times were suitable for doing things. Now they were searching for a star beast and fighting for the very last second of time. In particular, the importance of being a complete star general did not need to be told to a star general. At this time, even though she always wanted to break through the final paper-thin barrier, the gains did not make up for the losses. Wu Xinjie would not do something like this. Could it be because she was envious of what happened with Lining Mei? Su Xing was unable to help smiling. "Young lord, what are you smiling about?" Wu Xinjie blinked, curiously asked. "When we get out, I'll ask Suan whether or not she can concoct the yin-yang lovemaking powder. At that time, young lord will absolutely and properly get intimate with you." Su Xing chuckled. Wu Xinjie's face reddened, and her eyes were like a spring pool, lovely and touching yet somewhat unfathomable. "Where's the star beast?" Su Xing looked at the continuous mountains and valleys of the target area Wu Xinjie brought him to and felt confused. Let alone a star beast, not a single bird was visible. "Young lord, first close your eyes." Wu Xinjie winked, smiling. "What star beast is it so incredible?" Su Xing was quiet. Wu Xinjie smiled but did not reply. She turned and gently covered his eyes. By the time Wu Xinjie let go, the scene Su Xing saw had not changed at all. Just as he felt this was strange, suddenly, Su Xing noticed a faraway gorge apparently moved. Indeed it moved. Su Xing stared at it. That ravine astonishingly was a huge beast creeping about. "What is that?" "The heavenly mystery beast." Wu Xinjie answered. "Ah." Su Xing was startled when he heard this name. Heavenly Mystery Beast. This name was not only odd, it was also somewhat domineering. This is the knowledge star's strongest star beast. That it could swallow the heavens and devour the earth. Did it get the name? Does young lord dare go capture it? Wu Xinjie slightly smiled. Her smile had a sort of strange meaning. Seeing that demon beast was an enormous warning. Its whole body was spread full of forests, and Su Xing honestly somewhat did not dare to believe that Liangshan continent unexpectedly had such a terrifying monster in existence. But if he actually captured it, that indeed would be a great helping hand. He believed the entire Liangshan would be shocked. But this guy was rather a bit too big. When Su Xing looked at it, he felt his teeth hurt. The white shadow demon fox was cuter some. Young lord, if we give up, there is no way. There was never anyone who dared provoke this kind of star beast. Wu Xinjie smiled, not disappointed. Su Xing profoundly glanced at her, his mouth hooking with a smile. Testing it out doesn't count as wasting time. His hand beckoned, and the 24 flying swords immediately flew out. Then young lord, be careful. If you actually can capture the heavenly mystery beast, Xinjie will devote her life to young lord. Wu Xinjie said charmingly. Su Xing's smile was very ruminating. Silent. The riding sword soared into the sky and flew towards the heavenly mystery beast. Rather than say this heavenly mystery beast was a type of star beast, it was actually more appropriate to say it was a giant mountain. Its whole body was full of verdant and lush forests. If it was not for the seemingly earth-shaking breathing that was as if it was eating, Su Xing was incapable of believing this was a star beast. That's odd. How come Xinjie didn't mention the knowledge star had this sort of star beast before? Su Xing was inwardly puzzled. At this time he could not think any further, for the heavenly mystery beast sensed an approaching enemy intent. With an enormous rumble, that forest on the heavenly mystery beast's entire body all of a sudden emitted a green light. This giant green light enveloped him, and Su Xing called for the flying swords to protect him. At the same time his 10 fingers flicked, true star purple chi and purple mansion immortal thunder booming down. The green light was ripped apart by a trail of purple. The two abilities exploded upon the forest on the heavenly mystery beast's body, but the result seemingly was tickling it. With regards to the heavenly mystery beast, this tiny injury basically was negligible. Su Xing thought to himself that it was quite thorny. Heaven tearing and Langia became golden and green gales that blew violently forth. Sword light linked together, becoming just like heaven overflowing waves that slapped against the heavenly mystery beast's gigantic body. Even the heavenly mystery beast felt the pain. The forest jolted. The heavenly mystery beast stood up with a rumble. Clearly, it had been enraged, and with a howl, the trees on its body uprooted. Soaring from the surface upwards, they became tens of thousands of sword lights that rushed into the sky and suddenly stopped. Along with the heavenly mystery beast's shriek, this terrifying star beast seemingly read some incantation, and the countless sword lights in the sky transformed back and forth, forming a profound sword array. The wrinkles on Su Xing's forehead grew even deeper. His flying swords protected his body, then suddenly attacked the heavenly mystery beast. Wu Xinjie's eyes narrowed. Her smile was still charming, but this charm had a slight profound meaning. Young lord is honestly interesting. Seeing this sort of star beast, yet you dare go test it. Inside Wu Xinjie's beautiful pupils, Su Xing's figure currently flew around the heavenly mystery beast's surroundings. The 24 flying swords twisted into a hurricane, but as far as the tremendous heavenly mystery beast was concerned, the attacks Su Xing had were insignificant and could only raise its ire. It seems I need to help master. Following Su Xing's attacks becoming increasingly sluggish and slow, an odd light flashed in Wu Xinjie's eyes, and her figure flashed. This heavenly mystery beast was too strange. Su Xing's hands clapped together. The heaven-tearing flying swords transformed into a golden storm dragon that swam around his body, breaking the heavenly mystery beast's green sword light. The golden dragon image at the same time descended from the 9 firmaments, like an upside-down galaxy. The golden light practically annihilated the heavenly mystery beasts outside, but it nevertheless could not bring about any real harm. Su Xing sensed that something was very fishy. Once again, Su Xing hung in the air, put his hands together, and a giant hand of settled purple chi grabbed at it. The purple mansion immortal thunder linked into a net, densely packed and protecting in the surroundings. This is soul-transforming water. Too young lord, you will die. Wu Xinjie shouted in worry. Su Xing was unconcerned, not hesitating at all with each step. The black water very quickly rose past Su Xing's stomach. At this time, Wu Xinjie's body sunk down to her shoulders, but the girl's expression did not have fear, only astonishment. In her eyes was only the figure of Su Xing walking over, as if he had been locked onto. When the black water was nearly up to Wu Xinjie's lips, Su Xing at this time grabbed her. Young lord, you truly are too stupid. There was completely no need for you to save Xinjie. Wu Xinjie suddenly heaved a long sigh, as if she was very disappointed in Su Xing's conduct. Su Xing sneered. You ought to put away small tricks like this. Just who are you? Wu Xinjie froze, and her pupils once again widened, because of her surprise. Young lord, what are you saying? You probably don't know that I've practiced the heart like mirror absolute sincerity soul technique. Su Xing sneered, both his hands tightly seizing Wu Xinjie's white wrist. The black water slowly engulfed them, reaching their shoulders. The man and woman standing in the black lake gazed at each other, their pupils each the reflection of the other. Hearing Su Xing's words, Wu Xinjie still smiled. Of course Xinjie knows, but young lord's actions truly make Xinjie very disappointed. Su Xing shook his head. The black water very quickly submerged the two. But this so-called soul-transforming water seemed to be not that terrifying. Under the water's surface, it was incapable of engulfing their sight. And who knows how long after? Su Xing's eyes were dazzled. And suddenly, the surrounding black water dissipated like fog. The skies cleared up, the earth restored its color, and the mountains and rivers were green once more. How was there ever the scene of danger just a moment before? That previously terrifying heavenly mystery beast also became a true mountain, not fierce-looking in the slightest. When did young lord notice? Wu Xinjie's lovely smile floated over from several dozen meters away. The girl walked out of the fog, her figure wonderful, charming to look at. Xinjie definitely would not do something as brainless as what you did. Su Xing coldly said. Just who are you? Where is Wu Xinjie? Why have you passed yourself off as her? Heaven-tearing dragon cried, showing off its power. Wu Xinjie faintly glanced, her smile alluring to all things. The knowledge star is slave. 3, and slave is the knowledge star. Young lord, just now, you placed yourself in danger to go save Xinjie. This has made Xinjie very moved. Would it be better to allow Xinjie to once again repay you with her body? Wu Xinjie smiled. Su Xing had never met with such an eccentric situation. If it was not for him not understanding just what the state of the Wu Xinjie in front of him was, Su Xing would have already acted. He marched, and Su Xing's 5 fingers became a claw that grabbed at her. Wu Xinjie giggled, transforming into mist. Su Xing was taken aback. The mist then once again condensed into Wu Xinjie's form. Just who are you? Su Xing was surprised. This is the nine-tailed spirit fox. Young Lord Su Xing, your servant asks that you be careful. Suddenly, a gentle and rich voice drifted over. Su Xing and Wu Xinjie simultaneously froze. In the air, from a winding jade treasure horse descended a graceful woman. Qingxi. Qingxi lightly smiled, faintly nodding at Su Xing. Her clear pupils then returned to Wu Xinjie. The knowledge star's legendary star beast, the nine-tailed spirit fox. Your servant trusts that you have been well since we last met. Qingxi softly said. The nine-tailed spirit fox? Su Xing's head was somewhat muddled. The nine-tailed spirit fox? You truly speak some nonsense. Young lord, this Qingxi wants to provoke the relationship between young lord and Xinjie. Wu Xinjie chuckled, but immediately she could no longer laugh. Qingxi's wrist flipped, and a golden treasure book appeared. If it was not for the birth treasure outline, your servant honestly would not have known that the nine-tailed spirit fox had appeared. Qingxi's white hand played with her hair, speaking with a downplayed tone. Wu Xinjie's expression sunk, and it was immediately filled with killing intent. Star position, Knowledge star star name, Wu Yong nickname, Resourceful star true name, Wu Xinjie rank, 3rd star weapon, Heaven concealing star feather fan, 1 star, Star beast, realm, matchless 2nd stage innate skill, seeing clearly 5 elements, water yellow rank special move. Think then act dark rank special move. Speed is a crucial asset in war/wind from empty cave current status, possess/nine-tailed spirit fox detailed materials. Su Xing flipped out the birth treasure outline. Golden characters came into view, and seeing the row of information in front of him, he was somewhat taken aback. Nine-tailed spirit fox? Possessed? When Qingxi saw Su Xing's birth treasure outline, her eyelids slightly rose. It appeared she was more surprised. Woman, you truly like to dampen one's spirits. The nine-tailed spirit fox possessing Wu Xinjie coldly grinned. Quickly come out of Xinjie's body. Su Xing said in a low voice, his flying sword's dragon roaring. Fully charged, Langia and Heaven tearing crisscrossed each other. So long as Su Xing's diving intent moved, they could attack. Young Lord, slave is but the knowledge star beast. Just now was no more than a tiny little test given to young Lord. There is no need for young Lord to be angry. Wu Xinjie charmingly moved about, naturally so. However, you have made slave quite disappointed. That soul-transforming water black lake, just now was something young Lord honestly should not have entered. Then don't blame me. Su Xing did not wish to waste his breath on talk. He did not want to see Wu Xinjie's possessed body be controlled by the nine-tailed spirit fox. He solely thought of a way to force this nine-tailed spirit fox out of her. A green rainbow appeared, and the 12 Langia descended. Wu Xinjie giggled. She extended her right arm, her expression still lovely and moving. Then slave shall give young lord a final test. Wu Xinjie's pupils flashed with a cold light. Immediately, her arms burned with a raging white fire. Then the earth split apart, sending out several dozen white blazes the size of pythons pouncing towards the group. The white flames were disastrous, reaching the skies and raising the earth. Young lord, please be careful. Qingxi hurriedly retreated. Her long sleeve waves, shooting out a serene green light that enveloped her whole body. The nine-tailed spirit fox's white fire wound around the flying swords. A white and green light interlocked in battle. Su Xing took up heaven tearing, leaping upwards. Confronting the aggressive Su Xing, Wu Xinjie's smile was somewhat in disbelief. 9 white as frost and snow fox tails appeared on her body. Wu Xinjie's hands became claws, and the white flames became sky-ripping lights as she frightfully attacked Su Xing. These white flames were surprisingly powerful. Like arms in Wu Xinjie's hands, she used them to block Su Xing's attack. The white light dispersed. Wu Xinjie suddenly appeared at Su Xing's side, a sneer flashing across her lips. Young lord certainly wants to become enemies with slave. That will be a gain that does not make up for the losses. Her words had just fallen when 5 severe winds tore over, directly striking Su Xing's heaven tearing onto the verge of collapse. The strength of the nine-tailed spirit fox's powerful claw made Su Xing surprised. This practically was even stronger than some heavenly star martial generals. Courting death. Su Xing's expression was biting cold. He opened his mouth. Rock-piercing water droplets shot out of his mouth with a succession of bangs. The nine-tailed spirit fox's speed could be described as demonic. At such a close distance, she dodged Su Xing's rock-piercing water droplets. Not good. 10 fast beyond compare sharp weapons carved towards Su Xing's body. His divine intent moved, and the long already charged up 12 heaven tearings thundered with a dragon roar that destroyed these sneak attacks. But when they attacked Wu Xinjie, the nine-tailed spirit fox once again dodged. Her figure constantly changed and was fuzzy. After being possessed, as if relying on Wu Xinjie's matchless realm, the nine-tailed spirit fox was much more troublesome than he had imagined. Qingxi at this time slightly nodded in indication at the young girl sitting on the winding jade treasure horse. The ice and snow girl sitting atop the winding jade treasure horse coldly yelled. She raised a crystalline sky piercer, spurring the winding jade treasure horse to charge forth. That sky piercer was an icy damask-like jade, its cold light penetrating. 3 stars twinkled around it, and Su Xing recognized that star weapon's name. Its name was White Clean Tears. 2. This was the 55th ranked help star comparable to Rengue Guosheng. 3. Comparable to Rengue Guosheng. Have you also come to die? Seeing as how you have obtained a star beast, it is best that you obediently leave this place with your master. Wu Xinjie sneered. The white clean tears slashed out a startling chop. Emitting ice cold, the endless killing intent rolled towards Wu Xinjie. Comparable to Rengue Guoshue did not utter a sound. Her two pupils carried something that made people feel a pitiless cold. Under this slash, the girl did not hesitate, her keen pace changing speed and forcing the nine-tailed spirit fox to retreat back several dozen meters. Truly you make one feel annoyed. Wu Xinjie's pupils shrunk, and her killing intent once again swelled. One claw attacked, and the drifting white flames in the air dazzled, making Su Xing and the rest blinded for a moment. A claw directly grabbed the help star Guoshue's cranium. The girl's face was like water, the sky piercer swept up and down. Then, like splitting apart a tranquil lake, that instant gave rise to a swift and severe storm. Continuously smiling charmingly, Wu Xinjie's attacks combined with the strange white flames. Not a single weapon was worth a mention. Her 10 fingers became blades that, to Su Xing, were even more exaggerated than some star weapons. He did not know just what the background of this nine-tailed spirit fox was. Regardless, this possessed knowledge star honestly at this moment was superb to unbelievable combat levels, even somewhat defiant of the natural order. Su Xing wrinkled his brow. The sounds of weapon clashing resounded in the air. Comparable to Rengue Guosheng made Su Xing recall the aid star Lufang that similarly held a sky piercer named vermilion-colored blood. Su Xing noticed that the two honestly were somewhat contrasting. Before, when Su Xing read the water margin, he knew that the aid star and the help star were Songjiang's bodyguards, and they were considerably the cordial type. Let alone stowing their sky piercers, their martial force was that sort of category of looking strong when they were in reality weak. But Su Xing saw that the Guosheng before him holding the white clean tears was actually somewhat formidable. If the aid star little Marquis of Wen Lufang he had encountered before was furious like fire, an abundance of ferocity but a deficiency of skill, then Su Xing had ways to handle her. But the help star comparable to Rengue Guosheng in front of him actually was cold like ice. Her battle technique was ice cold to the extreme. The girl was extremely steady and calm, confronting the nine-tailed spirit fox's superb speed and bizarre attack methods without the least bit of confusion, dealing with them as if she was a fish in water. The more one could keep cool inside a battle, the more this sort of person was frightening. He completely could not be careless around this 55th ranked help star. Su Xing secretly glanced at the Qingxi to the side, somewhat unable to fathom this girl of picturesque charm. Comparable to Rengue Guosheng, you also dare to be impudent before this knowledge star. The Wu Xinjie of the nine-tailed fox gave a lovely smile. Under the attack of nine-tailed spirit fox's chained white flames, Guoshue did not manage to get too much leeway. The winding jade treasure horse had just spent much of its strength on recovery, and was basically incapable of persevering. With hardly several bouts, it was then recalled by Guoshue. A body of white clothes and white armor was scratched with several dozen cuts. A faint wind rolled, and Wu Xinjie's hands beckoned, white flames soaring into the sky from every direction. Guoshue's figure swayed, and the ice cold flowing over her body immediately glimpsed with ice and snow that promptly increased sharply. They washed away the white flames, transforming into a frightening lethal storm that twisted quickly towards Wu Xinjie. It was the matter of practically an instant. The girl's figure suddenly arrived, raised the spear in her hand, and the white clean tears light flashed. An eerie chill mixed with the girl to give rise to an oppressive intimidation. This sort of aggressive air was hard for those who were not star maidens to contend against. A penetrating light ripped apart the air. That glittering cold light practically made them unable to avert their gaze. A cold light appeared in the air, and this cold light dispersed into countless fragments that directly swept towards Wu Xinjie's forehead, without any gaps at all. This was the girl's dark rank technique. 1,000 years cold nights left long. Wu Xinjie's whole body bathed inside the snow-white blaze. In that instant, the nine-tailed spirit fox's clothes of course became shreds of ash, the entire thing falling off with a shudder, exposing graceful, completely naked curves. The white flames condensed into armor. This was just like an illusion. When the armor was run through, Wu Xinjie already disappeared from where she was like a phantom. Unexpectedly, she had dispelled comparable to Rengui's dark rank special move. The 9 fox tails wagged, and Wu Xinjie's face still maintained a fox's charm. Losing the cover of her clothes, the current knowledge star's whole body up and down emitted that sort of enticing feeling that made his blood vessels expand. Before Wu Xinjie could say anything, a golden light once again pounced. Wu Xinjie glanced. Her body was then encircled by a golden ring, and unable to budge in the slightest for the sake of truly averting the 9-tailed spirit fox possessing Wu Xinjie, and leaving evil smiting Hall without a trace, Su Xing did not dare be careless. It was a pity he could not use magic weapons, and he could only activate the golden immortal linked life ring to find a chance to first trap the 9-tailed spirit fox. Go. Immediately afterwards, the 12 heaven tearing and the 12 Langya revolved around, forming a double-layered sword array. The golden and green lights became a golden dragon and green bamboo, with a boom, like a flowing river, pouring down in torrents. Wu Xinjie raised her head, showing shock. In the blink of an eye, she was submerged in sword light. A white spirit flame became an auspicious cloud that protected Wu Xinjie, contending against Su Xing's flying swords. Young lord, you certainly are not tender enough. Wu Xinjie forced a smile. At the same time, Guoshui called forth the winding jade ice silver treasure horse. Straddling it, she charged over. With a star beast's speed, this rush was several times more terrifying than normal, its powerful aggression a stretch that linked together. It was not the least bit inferior to Su Xing's 2 immemorial flying swords. It directly charged into the middle of the sword array. Without any hesitation, she raised the sky piercer and stabbed. Oh! Wu Xinjie's pupils shrunk. The white clean tears immediately penetrated her body, yet her figure suddenly disappeared without a trace. Bang! The winding jade ice silver treasure horse's hooves carried frost. It descended to the ground, raising an ice crystal. The ice and snow girl sitting upon it had an expression that was still indifferent. She glanced at Qingxi. Swear careful. Qingxi all of a sudden shouted. Something's not right. Su Xing at the same time said. Guoshui froze. Suddenly, a pinprick of cold light appeared in the corner of her eye. The winding jade ice crystal treasure horse whinnied, and was knocked onto the ground. Guoshui's reactions were extremely quick, smoothly recalling her star beast, but she also lost the chance to fight back. A demonic claw suddenly appeared at her chest, penetrating through. Fresh blood dyed her snow white a shade of red. The girl's face was ashen. Wu Xinjie suddenly appeared. The girl smirked, and just as she was about to tear apart her heart, Qingxi already charged in shock, but she was already too late a step. Just at this moment, a bolt of purple thunder like a dragon shot over, and sent the 9-tailed spirit fox flying, saving Guoshui in the nick of time. Shuer, are you alright? Qingxi urgently held Guoshui. Guoshui's chest was stained red with blood. Fortunately, he had beaten back Wu Xinjie in the end, otherwise her heart probably would have been directly crushed. The 2 women cast surprised and grateful gazes at Su Xing. Su Xing was silent, icily watching Wu Xinjie. The obviously should have been killed Wu Xinjie unexpectedly did not return to the star nest. Rather, she appeared once again, which was truly outrageous. Was that just now yet another of the illusions you created? Su Xing said in a low voice. The knowledge star truly has found a stupid star duelist. The 9-tailed spirit fox said. It felt it was unreasonable for Su Xing to surprisingly act to save comparable to Rengui. Even the 9-tailed spirit fox that had stayed inside of Evil Smiting Hall for close to 1,000 years, was incapable of believing that among the star cultivators that were originally supposed to be mandated to kill each other in Evil Smiting Hall, there would unexpectedly be a star master that would save a future enemy. The others who also did not anticipate this were Qingxi and Guoshui. The always ice-cold comparable to Rengui was even slightly surprised. However, how could they ever guess Su Xing's thoughts? Let alone the troublesome 9-tailed spirit fox in front of them. If he had the assistance of comparable to Rengui and Qingxi, clearly things would be even more easy-some. Regardless of how it was put, it seemed for now that Qingxi and Guoshui still did not have the intent to loot a burning house. Su Xing naturally was delighted to collaborate. Just how long do you plan to possess her? Su Xing sneered. Wu Xingjia's eyes rolled charmingly, as if she was thinking of something. Suddenly she chuckled. Young lord, how about we make a deal? What? Su Xing's brow wrinkled. Beware her deceit. Qingxi said cautiously. Her words had just fallen when comparable to Ringue Guoshue's sky-piercer white clean tears already slashed. Wu Xingjie easily floated out of the way, dancing in the wind as if she had wings. Guoshue flashed with a chilly intent, and her pace changed. White clean tears horizontally swept. The nine-tailed spirit fox opened its mouth, still spitting out white fire to knock back comparable to Ringue. Her ice-cold breathing did not stop in the slightest. The help star still wanted to continue, but Su Xing blocked her attack from moving a step forward. His fluttering flying swords made Guoshue somewhat surprised, however. The help star made a rare stop. Do you want to make this a 3-on-1? Su Xing turned his head to coldly glare at the nine-tailed spirit fox. Now what her charm brought out of Su Xing was only more anger. Must young lord stand on their side? Wu Xingjie asked back. Don't assume Xingjie's appearance, it's unpleasant. Su Xing said, displeased. The Wu Xingjie possessed by the nine-tailed spirit fox smiled gorgeously. She leisurely stepped towards her left. And from the behind the girl walked out another Wu Xingjie. That additional knowledge star shifted right. And as if she was cloning, her body split apart into 2 more Wu Xinjies. These 4 Wu Xinjies simultaneously took a step forward. And as if there was a magic trick, the 4 knowledge stars actually stood where they were originally. Yet 4 new girls of the same figure stepped out. 8. This had not ended yet. The 8 identical Wu Xinjies simultaneously staggered, and in the middle walked out 1 more. With this, the nine-tailed spirit fox's 9 tails had unexpectedly become 9 knowledge star resourceful star Wu Yongs. If you wish to use many to fight one, then slave certainly is in her element. The 9 Wu Xinjies spoke at the same time. Like mirror images, their smiles identically alluring. Their wrists flipped, and a moon-white gloomy flame became dangerous short sabers gripped in their 9 pairs of hands. A cold light fully present. What sort of illusion art was this? Su Xing, Qingxi and Guoshue were all dumb as wooden chickens. Each and every one of the 9-tailed spirit foxes split off 9 Wu Xinjies were vivid and lifelike. This honestly was extremely beyond reason. The purple star astral treasure dragon has 9 suns seal floated about Qingxi's body. Wu Xingjie laughed. Seeing slaves' 9 tails transform, are you still unwilling to flee? Truly you are bold. Wu Xingjie abruptly split off several clones, and those phantoms were indistinguishable from the real thing, no differences unexpectedly visible. The corners of the mouths of each of the girls hung the same exact smile. The fox's tail too was exposed. Yet there was not a single hint. The 9 knowledge stars launched attacks at the same time. Apparently, each one was a true existence. This illusion was somewhat formidable. The white flames in her hands moved like a snake, twisting like a gale. Countless fragments were blown out from under the legs of Su Xing and the other 2 girls. The white flames wildly swelled, imposing as a rainbow. The 3 did not dare be careless. The sword array revolved, whirling around Su Xing's body. Following his finger movements, he raised a golden trail towards one of the Wu Xinjies in an attack. The girl became a pile of sparks without any resistance whatsoever. Su Xing's fingers flicked, and he launched a purple mansion immortal thunder. Another Wu Xinjie immediately exploded into a pile of sparks. Guoshue clutched the white clean tears. The sky piercer swung in an arc, smashing a Wu Xinjie in the stomach. The help star's attack was far from being as gentle as Su Xing's. Her figure continued to charge forwards. And in an instant, a second Wu Xinjie was struck apart. These 2 nine-tail clones clearly were not Wu Xinjie's true body. They shattered into flames at the same time and disappeared. Qingxi appeared the most odd. Without using a flying sword, or any such ability to speak of, the girl like a portrait stood, not saying a word, motionless. Although the 9-tailed spirit fox wanted to attack Qingxi to nip trouble in the bud, the help star comparable to Ringue Guoshue's white clean tears nevertheless was not that easy to break free from. 4 Wu Xinjies launched an assault on Guoshue at the same time. Claws as sharp as blades encircled the girl nearly without any leeway. Clearly, the true body was here among them. It seemed the nine-tailed spirit truly wanted to get rid of the help star. Guo Shui's eyes showed a bone-chilling intent. The sky-piercer blew an astral wind, slicing apart Wu Xingjia's throat. The Wu Xingjia clutched at the wound on her throat, stopping. Her figure fragmented into a formless blaze. These phantoms appeared overwhelming, but in actuality, they could not withstand a single blow. They were only weak bluffs. The 8 nine-tails transformations easily were destroyed, and the last remaining one seemed to be the true body. A jeering laugh came from behind. The last Wu Xingjia rushed at Su Xing. Using the 8 clones as a screen, the speed of this surprise attack was unusually fast. "I've got you." Su Xing leaned and half-twirled, one hand grabbing Wu Xingjia's hand. No matter what, even if she was possessed, Su Xing did not truly want to harm Wu Xingjia. To be able to catch her and leave evil smiting Hall, there was a way to deal with this. Just as Su Xing was about to activate the evil smiting writ, he found a smile on that Wu Xingjia's lips. She became dark sparks and disappeared before Su Xing's eyes. The 9th was also a fake? Su Xing was stunned. "This is bad, she got me." Su Xing suddenly turned his head around. Guo Shui noticed the anomaly at the same time, and she looked to Qingxi. Behind the calm-as-water beautiful woman appeared the real nine-tailed spirit fox. An enormous flame plunged down on her from above like a sharp weapon. This was the nine-tailed spirit fox's true objective she wanted to kill. "Slave truly loathes your scent. Die now." The nine-tailed spirit fox sneered. Dazzling light mind image. 3. Indeed, this is a brilliant illusion art. Qingxi seemed to have already anticipated this. Gently smiling, the prostrate snake ruler let out countless ruler shadows that overlapped in several dozen layers. But the nine-tailed spirit fox's strike was exceptionally vicious. This purple star astral treasure's defenses were broken layer by layer, yet Qingxi's actions were graceful as before. Her white finger moved, and the Yazi saber suddenly tore apart space, spitting out a terrifying dark light. The nine-tailed spirit fox's pupils widened, and it immediately became frightened. The Yazi saber cut down from high up. The nine-tailed spirit fox's powerful attacks seemed to scatter like laughable shreds of paper and wisps of smoke. This was fatal. The nine-tailed spirit fox sniffed a scent of fear. Persisting in evil brings about self-destruction. Exceptional and stunning star beast of the knowledge star, it is a pity. Qingxi slightly sighed. The Yazi saber's black light focused, deeply making people afraid, and the scene of hell pounced over. The nine-tailed spirit fox turned around to flee. But behind her she saw intersecting sword lights of green and gold simultaneously shoot over. The nine-tailed spirit fox was practically in despair. Just at this moment, the flying swords that flew over abruptly changed directions, and avoided the nine-tailed spirit fox. Heaven Tearing and Lengia intersected pair by pair, and formed a sword net. The objective was unexpectedly that Yazi saber that was flying over. Bang! This Yazi saber's degree of terror far exceeded Su Xing's imagination. The 24 immemorial flying sword chant was nearly struck into collapsing by the Yazi saber. Su Xing concentrated all of his divine intent in order to stop it. Once Qingxi saw, she showed surprise. Gesturing, the Yazi saber flew back. Only then did Su Xing's pressure greatly alleviate. Young Lord Su Xing? Qingxi's brow knit in confusion. The nine-tailed spirit fox also felt speechless towards Su Xing. What was this man doing? One moment, he was saving the enemy, and then the next, he was saving her. She had never seen such a bizarre star master. Su Xing saw that Yazi saber's ferocity. If it was to actually slash Wu Xingjia like that, Su Xing would instinctively act. Nine-tailed spirit fox, just until when do you plan to stay? Pausing, Su Xing calmly spoke. Too far is as bad as not enough. Stop while you still can. The panicked and doubtful nine-tailed spirit fox hid behind Su Xing. She could tell that although the man in front of her wanted to grind her bones and scatter her ashes, he still quite pitied the knowledge star girl she was possessing. Even though he clearly knew killing her would only return her to the star nest, he still was somewhat unwilling. The nine-tailed spirit fox's eyeballs craftily rolled. Young lord, how about we make a deal? What? Young lord, Let us work together and kill the women in front of us. So long as young lord kills her, then slave is willing to become the knowledge star's star beast. Young lord, what do you think? The nine-tailed spirit fox enticingly smiled. Her pupils were suffused with a lovely and amorous glint. She did not forget to remind him. These women are but young lord's enemies. That astral treasure she is using is also extreme. And this just happens to be a perfect opportunity. Su Xing looked at Qingxi. The beautiful woman was like a portrait, indifferent. Her expression was somewhat pale, for using a purple star astral treasure was inherently extremely taxing. Continuously using it like this was not a small burden on Qingxi. The nine-tailed spirit fox's eyes had a sinister glint. She could tell that Qingxi at the moment was in a weak position. With Su Xing's immemorial sword chant, she perhaps could honestly get rid of the Qingxi possessing the dragon has 9 sons. Comparable to Rengue Guoshui was like a tense beast, her ice-cold breath lingering. Even if they were separated by several dozen meters, the thick atmosphere could be felt. Probably Su Xing would move, and the girl that had just been saved by Su Xing would also act without the slightest hesitation. The nine-tailed spirit fox? The Wu Xinjie that had just walked out from the river had just been preparing to go find Su Xing when she lifted her head, and was astonished to see that a white fox had appeared on higher ground. The white shadow demon fox extended 9 fox tails. At this time, only then did Wu Xinjie discover she had seen wrongly. It is unexpectedly the nine-tailed spirit fox. The nine-tailed spirit fox was the knowledge star's legendary star beast, like the king of spirits. It possessed a crafty intelligence, and it could use a power called dazzling light mind image. This ability was a powerful to the degree of being terrifying illusion art. The majority of star cultivators only needed to be careless for a moment to die unaware of what happened. Furthermore, for the successive generations of knowledge stars, capturing the nine-tailed spirit fox meant that even if they confronted a first-rate heavenly star marshal general, they had a chance in battle. But to capture the nine-tailed spirit fox practically was an impossible to achieve mission because this star beast had already reached the psychic communication realm. Ordinary means completely were unable to have any effect on her. And to think of using force as a method, the nine-tailed spirit fox's dazzling light mind image was sufficient to leave the knowledge star staring at her back. The fox of Snow White first stared calmly at Wu Xinjie, its 9 gorgeous tails piled like snow. Those demonic pupils brimmed with a hint of concentration and inquisitiveness. At the same time, the nine-tailed spirit fox's psychic voice echoed in Wu Xinjie's mind. It has been very long since slave has seen the knowledge star enter evil smiting hall. In 800 years, acting as the pitiful star maiden second to Songjiang, for you to enter this time is actually very astonishing. Wu Xinjie smiled. Since you personally approached Xinjie, there is no need to compete in a star duel with Xinjie, showing your nine-tailed spirit fox's peerlessly elegant poise and manner. A laugh. The nine-tailed spirit fox's laugh had a very human quality, and its expression was considerably charming. That man that fell into slave's trap must be your master? Truly, he is merely so. Wu Xinjie sneered. If the nine-tailed spirit fox is satisfied by no more than a small trick, then that is truly amusing. Knowledge star, there is no need to speak any more rubbish. Slave coming to find you naturally has some reasons. The nine-tailed spirit fox straightened itself, its 9 tails raised, like a peacock spreading its tail. Speak. If you wish to capture slave, does the knowledge star dare to allow slave to possess your body? Upon hearing possession, Wu Xinjie's smile promptly vanished. During the time before signing a contract, the nine-tailed spirit fox possessing her signified a loss of the authority over her own body. To give her corporeal body to the fox in front of her was to lose control over herself. If this nine-tailed spirit fox used her body to do something, that certainly was a bit too disadvantageous. Knowledge star, you are afraid? The nine-tailed spirit fox seemingly was teasing her. Give Xinjie one reason to oblige you. Wu Xinjie asked back. Slave wants to possess your body only naturally to observe your master. Should slave feel interested, she will then contract with you. If he makes slave disappointed, slave will not make things difficult for you. This sounded very reasonable. But she was incapable of setting Wuxia at ease. She actually was not afraid of the nine-tailed spirit fox taking over her body. With a star general's body, possessing her completely lacked sense. What Wuxia most worried was that the nine-tailed spirit fox would perhaps harm Su Xing. The nine-tailed spirit fox killing the Knowledge Star's contractor was not at all strange. Right now they already did not have much time, and Wuxia did not want to face any more risk. She had to at least discuss this first with Su Xing. Just as she was about to decline, the nine-tailed spirit fox teased. Knowledge Star, you feel that your master will make slave disappointed, or are you saying you feel unsuitable to capturing slave? What a good use of psychology. Wuxia smiled, her thoughts turning. So what if Xinjie obliges you? But similarly, Xinjie has requests. Do you dare agree? Oh, first you have only 3 days' time of possession. And what can slave discern in 3 days? However, what harm is there in agreeing? The nine-tailed spirit fox nodded. Second, you cannot harm master, otherwise, Xinjie will absolutely not forgive you. Interesting, truly interesting. Slave is more and more interested in your master. Wuxia was also very interested in this legendary nine-tailed spirit fox. If they had its help, facing Maiden Mountain would have just a bit more certainty. As the ancients said, riches and honor were to be sought for in the midst of danger. With a chance in front of Wuxia, how could she let this go, let alone that she was very confident in Su Xing. With Su Xing's sharpness, presumably, whatever tricks this nine-tailed spirit fox wanted to try would be of no use. Her star crest twinkled. The nine-tailed spirit fox leapt into Wuxia's head, transforming into a ray of white light that entered her cranium. Immediately after the pure light flashed from head to toe, when Wuxia opened her eyes once again, her expression was already alluring enough to make anyone's blood vessels expand. Slave will properly take care of your master, however, even if slave wishes to harm him, just what can you do about that? Wuxia licked her palm, flirtatiously falling over. You stupid man unexpectedly dares to refuse slave's request. The nine-tailed spirit fox was abruptly angry. She was incapable of believing that when confronted with such an overwhelmingly advantageous condition, she would unexpectedly be refused. Could it be that he saw that she wanted to exploit him? No, impossible. Killing a Star Master was what each Star Master would willingly go do. Even if he had found her out, with her dazzling light mind image in addition to Su Xing's flying swords, dropping one of their opponents was not at all impossible. With such a good opportunity, the nine-tailed spirit fox did not believe there would be anybody who would decline. But Su Xing felt that he might as well be straightforward, not dilly-dallying in the slightest, to make the nine-tailed spirit fox very hurt. Stupid, courting death. The nine-tailed spirit fox leapt high up, dazzling light mind image activating. The nine-tailed spirit fox burning in fury truly exuded killing intent. But it was just at this moment that its cranium had an excruciating pain like it was tearing open. A powerful star energy forced her out. How can this be? The nine-tailed spirit fox watched dumbstruck as it broke out of possession status. The Su Xing just about to attack hurriedly retracted his trike, opening both his arms to embrace the girl. Although Wuxia's complexion was somewhat pale, a familiar charm appeared in her eyes. Young lord. In the future, don't do this sort of thing. Su Xing stiffened his face. And Wuxia stuck out her tongue. She turned her head. The nine-tailed spirit fox's original body fell out. It was the nine-tailed fox that would make anyone feel it was flirty. At this moment, the nine-tailed spirit fox's whole body arched, baring its fangs, startled yet infuriated. Under a state of no contract, the nine-tailed spirit fox's possession would control the Knowledge Star's body. In other words, during this time, Wuxia was just like she was in a deep sleep. So long as the nine-tailed spirit fox did not leave the possession state, Wuxia was unable to wake up. But what made the nine-tailed spirit fox extremely surprised was that under a voluntary possession situation, the Knowledge Star unexpectedly could still wake up. The sole explanation was this: the Knowledge Star and her contractor had reached the perfect harmony realm, and had already surpassed her control. It was just as Wu Xinjie said, so long as the nine-tailed fox harmed Su Xing. Then Wu Xinjie could immediately awaken, forcefully breaking the possession. To think of harming young lord, Xinjie absolutely will not forgive you, nine-tailed spirit fox. Wu Xinjie coldly spoke, the heaven-concealing star feather fan in hand. Kill them, then slaves shall accompany you. The nine-tailed spirit fox slowly calmed. To witness a star master with such a realm made her furious, yet feel perplexed at the same time. Might as well kill you instead. Heaven tearing unsheathed. It became a great golden downpour that stormed down. The nine-tailed spirit fox made a shrill cry. It glared at Su Xing. The mane in front of her truly would not yield even a single step. Go die you. You all will regret this. Knowledge star. So long as you are in evil smiting hall one day, slave will make you regret this. The nine-tailed spirit fox said furiously. It flashed, becoming a ray of white light that escaped. The knowledge star somewhat sighed in regret. This was but the knowledge star's legendary nine-tailed spirit fox. She never expected that they would not capture it, and on the contrary, become enemies instead. Wu Xinjie did not know whether to laugh or cry. However, there was no helping this. The nine-tailed spirit fox in front of them displayed too powerful a control. Let alone that Su Xing loathed it, even she herself did not like it at all. This elder sister looks somewhat familiar. Have we met before? Wu Xinjie and Su Xing whirled around, not forgetting that present was also a mysterious star master. Qingxi was like a portrait, elegant and refined, her expression calm, her bearing dignified. Wu Xinjie always felt that she had seen the woman in front of her somewhere before, but she could not recall. Qingxi Guoshui. Su Xing introduced them simply. Wu Xinjie nodded. It seemed Su Xing recognized them. That was why she felt they were familiar. Wu Xinjie did not think too much, but she was inwardly speechless at the dragon has 9 suns purple star astral treasure around Qingxi's body. This 9-in-1 purple star astral treasure was like thunder pouring in her ear. Controlling one was extremely difficult, to say nothing of 9. She wondered which sex star master Qingxi was. Could it be said that she was the purple firmament immortal palaces? Qingxi stared at Wu Xinjie, her crystal clear eyes carrying a mystery Su Xing could not describe. Little sister Xinjie has found an enviable contractor. Qingxi smiled. The Yazi saber dimmed and slowed, then recovering its calm. Xinjie feels that this little sister help star Guoshui is the enviable one. Wu Xinjie replied. The two made friendly conversation. Those unaware would see these two as just like sisters. But in Qingxi's eyes was some regret. Su Xing could not fathom her. Before leaving, Guoshui nodded at Su Xing, as if she was expressing thanks for his earlier aid. Then she bade farewell and left this place/this Qingxi. Young lord must be wary. In the future, she will be a thorny enemy. Xinjie can sense it. Wu Xinjie's tone was serious. Didn't you two chat very happily? Could it be you aren't friends? Su Xing smiled and asked. Xinjie does not know either. Wu Xinjie frowned, vexed. Don't think too much. If she's a friend, drink a cup of wine. If she's an enemy, send for a blade. Su Xing had quite the favorable impression of the stunning Qingxi. Although the two once had a bit of misunderstanding, when the final phase began, there was the possibility she could perhaps become an ally. Wu Xinjie smiled. Is young lord thinking of inebriating that Qingxi and then taking advantage to assault her afterwards? I haven't assaulted my own beautiful ladies enough. Why would I assault her? Su Xing shook his head. Wu Xinjie's hands embraced him, her plump chest pressing tightly against his abdomen. Beside his ear she enchantingly whispered. Young lord, there is still some time. Come assault Xinjie. Su Xing embraced Wu Xinjie, needing that plumpness, intimately engaging her in a hot kiss. Young lord, Xinjie wants to assault you right now. Wu Xinjie seized Su Xing's shameful hardness, her eyes seemingly about to drip lustful tears. She pushed Su Xing down undressed, completely revealing her whole body. We'd better use the yin-yang lovemaking powder first. Su Xing endured his burning desire. Wu Xinjie panted, her cheeks crimson. Young lord, don't think of Xinjie. In actuality, Xinjie has an objective. What objective? Su Xing lifted his head from his sucking. Xinjie wants young lord. Wu Xinjie bashfully said. Su Xing perspired. This objective was honestly rather straightforward. Before Wu Xinjie had even finished. There is still that 8 gates black gold chain. The 8 gates black gold chain. The knowledge star's second destined star weapon. The same as the skillful star Yan Yizhen's second star weapon. 3 arrows lethal crossbow. Only under certain circumstances could it manifest. What was different was that the knowledge star's 8 gates black gold chain always was enigmatic. The records of previous star duels pertaining to the knowledge star's 8 gates black gold chain were only a few words. As far was conjectures surrounding the 8 gates black gold chain. Those were also of differing opinions because the knowledge star resourceful star Wu Yong was ranked an astonishing 3rd. However, she was somewhat similar to the ranked 1st Song Jiang, completely lacking combat innate skills. On magic, she also did not have any contributions, and she even could not compare to the leader star resourceful strategist Zhu Wu in terms of arrays. Her sole advantage was in strategic battle tactics. Though these types of battle tactics could change the course of a war, they nevertheless could not change the fate of the star duels. Over the generations, the knowledge star also was barely second to Song Jiang, an existence of other star cultivators rushing like ducks to kill her. However, any way it was put, the one ranked 3rd was unlikely to be in such a sorry situation. After all, in the successive star duels, there was a knowledge star in the 7 Stars Uprising Assembly that ascended Maiden Mountain. But that generation's knowledge star was very mysterious. The materials pertaining to her could be counted on fingers, and the one thing that was known was that she manifested the 2nd star weapon, 8 gates black gold chain. Wu Xinjie then guessed. Little he merely had to be emotionally stirred to the depths to manifest the 3 arrows lethal crossbow. Anyway it was put, she Wu Xinjie had to be in perfect harmony with her young master, right? There was no reason for it to still not have emerged. A most dangerous situation was also fine. The most illicit situation was also arranged. Wu Xinjie had practically tested everything, but she did not sense the presence of the 8 gates black gold chain in the slightest. This made Wu Xinjie very hurt. Testing every sort of method, currently, there was only one thing left that Wu Xinjie could think of. Sexual intercourse dual cultivation. Su Xing was also very hurt when he heard this. Wu Xinjie said displeased, her expression extremely tantalizing. Young lord, the 8 gates black gold chain is only an excuse. However, if it can also appear at the same time, that is even better. Come. Her soft tone made his morality go weak. Her underwear was pushed aside. With her lovely body completely naked, her virgin fragrance lingered, and red clouds dyed her face. Wu Xinjie's pupils were passionate, but upon seeing those slender jade legs straddle him, he could only smell the spring waters of her pistol, the scent assaulting him in the face. Su Xing's mind trembled. All of his hesitation was sucked clean away under Wu Xinjie's influence. Every last part of Wu Xinjie was left with Su Xing's hickeys. Raising his head from that secret flower garden, Su Xing patted Wu Xinjie's butt. The girl understood. She knelt on both knees, prostrating herself where she was. Looking at her from behind, the girl's graceful curves were incomparably enticing, each place capable of making anyone wild. Turning her head back, her expression was extremely charming. Young lord, you must have pity on Xinjie. Xinjie, are you serious? Su Xing's burning hardness lightly pressed against her secret place. Quickly. Wu Xinjie had long been impatient. There was a pitiful moan. Su Xing no longer wasted his breath on words. He grabbed her round softness and slowly straightened his body. Her pistol blossomed, and entering deeper inch by inch, he went straight into the softness of that deepest place. For a time, this was accompanied by Wu Xinjie's touching moans. Feeling the girl's tight embrace, in that instant, Su Xing's heart thoroughly melted. Su Xing, Su Xing, Su Xing. The feeling of her empty place stuffed full made Wu Xinjie's spirit nearly faint. Bearing the attacks behind her, the girl passionately cried out. Each cry made the pair sink into an endless realm of perfect harmony. What was there that could act as proof? Spring breeze kissed the pistol. The spring water seemed intoxicated. For who was her passion? A falling redness protecting spring. Their harmony could be described with 1,000 characters. Several more hours passed after sex. Wu Xinjie was very tired, very weak. The price of the Star Maiden losing her virginity also slowly became apparent at this time. The weakness of the girl's aura was not ordinary. Although they were climbing Mount Wu just now, with the girl ascending to that peak where she wished she was dead, after the fact, she seemed exhausted to almost drowning. Su Xing embraced Wu Xinjie. Seeing Wu Xinjie gradually weaken, his heart truly hurt to death. Young lord, you being like this makes Xinjie feel very guilty. Wu Xinjie smiled and said, your young lord truly is somewhat worse than a beast. Su Xing said. Wu Xinjie laughed and winked. Young lord, your worse than a beast just now was so fierce. Su Xing was speechless. He poked her forehead. We had better leave soon. Have Suan take a look at you. Su Xing said. It was just about time. Can young lord help Xinjie up? Su Xing chuckled. Not only did he raise Wu Xinjie up, he also helped her dress from inside out. He made the girl endlessly bashful. Looking at Su Xing from the side, her eyes were lovely and moving. Are you really all right like this? Su Xing saw that Wu Xinjie had lost her color. The nine-tailed spirit fox stared at Wu Xinjie. The latter smiled mysteriously. An odd knowledge star has appeared this generation. The nine-tailed spirit fox said, Xinjie will treat this as praise. Wu Xinjie smiled. Humph. The nine-tailed spirit fox had possessed Wu Xinjie. Originally, she wanted to use seduction to test Su Xing. Now it seemed she truly had done more than required. Actually, this young married couple had already been illicit to some unknown degree. However, this man truly was bizarre. You kept peeping just now? Su Xing's tone was displeased. You humans copulated in Slave's domain, and still you want to blame Slave for not withdrawing? Su Xing was speechless. This nine-tailed spirit fox honestly was excessive. I don't have interest in wasting time with you. What did you mean by what you said just now? Su Xing asked. Slave wishes to sign a contract with you. The nine-tailed spirit fox jumped down from the tree, gracefully walking over to Wu Xinjie. Su Xing's eyes showed suspicion. It is very difficult to encounter such an interesting knowledge star and star master. How can Slave keep on being lonely inside Evil Smiting Hall? The nine-tailed spirit fox split open its mouth, smiling with sharp fangs clearly revealed. Su Xing looked at Wu Xinjie. The girl nodded. You truly plan to become Xinjie's star beast? Of course. The nine-tailed spirit fox scratched itself with its hind legs, a carefree appearance. Your master honestly is too stupid. Slave feels very interested in how far you two can go, let alone that the knowledge star would unexpectedly freely give her virginity away. This honestly is very much to Slave's liking. The nine-tailed spirit fox giggled. Su Xing thought, fuck, this nine-tailed spirit fox isn't male, right? However, Slave has a condition. The nine-tailed spirit fox's topic changed. What condition? Should Slave help you win the star duels, the wish shall belong to Slave. No way. Wu Xinjie bluntly refused. Why? The nine-tailed spirit fox knew this married couple did not act according to common sense. This time it was not angry. If Slave becomes your star beast, you will naturally know of Slave's advantages. If you want to win the star duels, knowledge star, without Slave at your side, the probability is remote. Apologies, Xinjie still has sisters. It seems there is no chance to be with the nine-tailed spirit fox. Wu Xinjie smiled and said. The nine-tailed spirit fox again looked to Su Xing. The latter's indifferent expression answered very clearly. Never mind, Slave does not hold any interest in Maiden Mountain's so-called wish. The nine-tailed spirit fox shook its head. Just come capture Slave now. Wu Xinjie took out the evil smiting writ, immediately chanting the capture incantation. Su Xing stood guard nearby, the 24 flying swords not daring to be careless. For the sake of avoiding the nine-tailed spirit fox's dazzling light mind image illusion art, he even used the mirror without a stand, to make the extreme sincerity soul technique reach its peak. The nine-tailed spirit fox indeed wanted to sign a contract with Wu Xinjie, for the capture process was very smooth. A star crest flashed on the nine-tailed spirit fox's head. From now on, this moment made clear that this proud nine-tailed spirit fox had genuinely become Wuxinjia's star beast. Wuxinjia loosed a breath, unable to cover the relaxation in her eyes. Master, please confer slave a name. The nine-tailed spirit fox respectfully crawled. Young master, what name should be chosen? The names Wuxinjia thought of clearly did not suit the nine-tailed spirit fox, feeling briefly embarrassed. Su Xing saw that the nine-tailed spirit fox's nine tails were like snow piles, and the surroundings had scarlet flower petals flutter in the wind. A thought flashed through his heart. He said, Wind, flower, snow and moon. 2. You shall be called Huashui. 3. Young lord, truly a good name. Wuxinjia's eyes shone. From today onwards, thou art known as Huashui. Huashui engraves to memory. Master, just now you mentioned the 8 gates black gold chain? Huashui said. Do you know something? Slave knows what can make the 8 gates black gold chain appear. Ah, Huashui, is what you say true? Acting as the knowledge star's legendary star beast, the nine-tailed spirit fox evidently would not lie. The nine-tailed spirit fox leapt, and a ray of white light flew towards Wuxinjia. An unexpected great satisfaction. When Su Xing and Wuxinjia emerged from Evil Smiting Hall, even the knowledge star had never thought she would capture a star beast. Not only that, the 8 gates black gold chain also finally manifested its form. Of course, what most made Wuxinjia satisfied was that her relationship with Su Xing had finally broken through that final layer. Luckily, after capturing the nine-tailed spirit fox, the price of losing her virginity was negated. The 3 days of time in Evil Smiting Hall truly made Wuxinjia wish these days could continue. Her lips' smile never faded. The nine-tailed spirit fox followed after the knowledge star. Its fur a snow white, its pupils bewitching, making the beauties in the void immortals' abode greatly shocked. Even the gaze of the most cold and indifferent Wuxia was attracted by the nine-tailed spirit fox. Confronted with their curious expressions, Wuxinjia naturally knew what the sisters wanted to ask, but now, their time was nevertheless short. The very long Evil Smiting Hall finally reached a close. The 7 beauties, besides Gongsun Huang's temporary abandonment, each obtained the star beast of their dreams, but there was still one final one. The noble star Little Whirlwind Chai Ling gracefully stood up. Her hair was bound in a cloud bun, stuck with a phoenix hairpin and tassels, her steps graceful. Her blue court-long skirt outlined her charming curves. The corners of her skirt were piled like waves, dragging gently along the ground. Her blue pupils were like clear lake water, yet they also carried a feeling of mocking arrogance. Truly, your luck with women is not lacking, unexpectedly making this palace wait so long for you. Her Highness Queen Chai Ling already was a bit impatient. After Su Xing emerged, she did not waste words nor did she spend time wasting words, for she wanted to enter Evil Smiting Hall. Su Xing and Chai Ling did not have a contract, but Chai Ling and Su Xing did ingest the together to hell. This sort of rarely seen spirit medicine could create the facade of a contract. Little sister Xiao, next we will have to trouble you, Wuxinjia said. Wu Xiao nodded, her head cold as frost. Her expression indifferently swept across. She stepped forward, and her myriad strands of flowing hair billowed. Is 1 day's time enough? Wu Xiao calmly said. Acting as the Wu Song who had already obtained her star beast, the white and black unicorn tiger, she could only stay in Evil Smiting Hall for 1 day. All of the girls turned their inquisitive gazes to Chai Ling. Be at ease. This palace also does not wish to stay in Evil Smiting Hall for too long a time, so as to avoid dirtying this palace. Chai Ling faintly smiled. Then she looked to Su Xing. Have you prepared? Or will you say that you need to catch your breath? A rarely seen bit of concern. Although she was a bit concerned, she was more derisive. Passing through 7 continuous Evil Smiting Hall battles, this consumption was not something an ordinary person could bear. Furthermore, each time he entered Evil Smiting Hall, the difficulties Su Xing faced were severe. If it was an average person, they long would already have been unable to continue. Su Xing was quite exhausted, a sort of fatigue with his energy being sucked clean. Fortunately, dual cultivation with Wuxia replenished much of his vigor, barely enough to be able to cope. Su Xing did not want to bear any more side issues. Nodding without any objection, for there was no point in discussing further. In any case, they still had Wuxia. Looking around from atop a cliff face, below there was an emerald green grassland, land to gallop straight across without limit. The bright blue skies spread through their surroundings, and on the horizon was a vaguely visible palace in the clouds. The enormous bright moon gently enshrouded it. Even if it was daytime, this was exceptionally dazzling. The place Su Xing and Chai Ling appeared at was very special and very warm. I can't tell what place is a mirage or what is real. Su Xing surveyed the distant 1,000 miles. In the mist was a vaguely visible palace. That palace seemingly was set into the middle of the bright moon, completely mysterious. He did not know whether it was an illusion or not. If it was real, it appeared that the influence of the star beast of the palace in the clouds was considerably great. If it was not for his time being short, Su Xing was very interested in exploring. His thoughts returned to Chai Ling's body. At this time, the queen stood on the cliffside, looking down like the sovereign of the world. The Chai Ling, wearing a palace dress swaying gently on the ground, appeared very beautiful, her charming figure ample, particularly those several pieces of blue starlight jewelry that made her appear even more noble. Chai Ling quietly and slowly breathed, as if she was savoring evil smiting Hall's air. It made Su Xing unable to help but smile. Chai Ling, to be frank, why don't you find a star master? With your vast wealth and your connections, are the star duels a problem for you? I can't see it. Chai Ling shot a glance at Su Xing, twitched her thin lips, showing disdain. What the end of the star duels relies on is still the compatibility between Star General and Star Master. Even if one possesses wealth equal to that of a nation, that is merely a jest. Relationships, even more laughable. In the star duels, you die and I live. Only a man as sluggish as you would idiotically think of creating a harem that accepts all of the sisters. Su Xing dripped with cold sweat. You misunderstand. If they don't offend me, then I won't offend them. Chai Ling opened the golden thread feather fan, hit her red lips and let out a soft chuckle. The 9th generation star duels. Unexpectedly, that there would be a star master like you with a naive way of thinking is truly unimaginable. This palace wonders what your identity is in the end, for this palace is suddenly very curious. The little whirlwind also knew that although that the man before her currently showed no will to harm man or beast, at the critical moment, he was still quite reliable. Chai Ling could see this clue from the 7 sisters following him. In this month staying at the Void Immortal's abode, Chai Ling was given a profound impression. Every time Su Xing emerged from Evil Smiting Hall, the joy of the sisters remained fresh in her memory. Watching the sisters share their joys and sorrows, who said this sort of scene did not move Chai Ling to have the thought of a contract. Compared to acting as an observer of the star duels, the 9th noble star had even more interest in participating. Otherwise, she would not face such enormous danger coming to Evil Smiting Hall. But Chai Ling also knew that even if she truly wanted to sign a contract, perhaps the man in front of her would hesitate. Participating in the star duels signified the noble star would have nothing at all. Not only would this bring Su Xing another calamity, putting herself in his shoes, even Chai Ling would not do this sort of unprofitable exchange. Chai Ling, what are you thinking of? Are you truly thinking of signing a star duel covenant? Chai Ling always was paying attention to him, making Su Xing somewhat embarrassed. I'm just saying, don't take it seriously. I certainly don't want to become enemies with you. Su Xing earnestly said. Chai Ling used a seeming smile to cover her heart's indescribable disappointment. You had better mind yourself first, properly look after the sisters. Su Xing nodded. Walking several steps, Chai Ling turned her head back and suddenly asked, was the yin-yang lovemaking powder this palace gifted you of use? Do you have any more? Su Xing twitched his lips, chuckling. Chai Ling had an expression of sure enough it was this. For the 9th generation star duels to be able to have a star master like you. No wonder that Chao Gai wants to punish you. Can you tell this palace how you got to know the other sisters? This palace is very curious why you can break the rules, contract so many sisters. Chai Ling asked. Su Xing walked to her side, walked shoulder to shoulder with her. The fragrance of Chai Ling's queenly elegance made him dazzled and stunned, particularly those plump and towering breasts stretching that snow-white bodice to the point of breaking out of her clothes. Looking further would make him unable to help but want to tenderly love it. Combined with the current Chai Ling's charm and her noble enticing manner, compared to the nine-tailed spirit fox possessed Wuxia, she was not to be outdone. Su Xing calmed his mind. Seeing his slightly narrow appearance, the smile on Chai Ling's lips was even more amused. Su Xing then narrated to Chai Ling the course of events of how he knew the girls. He was also very curious why he was able to break the rules, but he did not know whether or not these rules had a limit. Slowly, Chai Ling grew more engrossed as she listened, and her body could not help but involuntarily draw ever closer. Su Xing did not notice either, for speaking of the very long circumstances of how he came to know Lin Yingmei, and the rest was seemingly a never-ending story. He completely recalled everything, but his excellent storytelling always could not avoid adding some romantic plots. Chai Ling's expression turned from mockery to curiosity, and then to concentration. Leaning in, her pace gracefully accompanied him. The atmosphere was continuously very peaceful, and the path the two walked down the mountain seemed to have no end. Listening to Su Xing's eloquence, Chai Ling suddenly felt that staying in Evil Smiting Hall for just a bit longer was not a bad thing at all. Evil Smiting Hall, under the palace in the clouds. The clanging sounds of battle endlessly entered the ear. On a lush mountain in green waters, a thin, black swan-like figure fluttered amidst the scenery. A young girl with white clothes surpassing snow waved brandished a profound sword technique, blocking with difficulty, her more than a dozen icy flying swords revolving in support. She naturally was Gong Kaiwei. Bang! Black sword light heavily struck, and the flying swords simultaneously went to block. Roar! There was an eerie roar. The flying swords were shaken aside. When Gong Kaiwei saw, her face expressionless, she rapidly withdrew, her steps light as smoke dodging away. What appeared was a woman of tall stature and wheat-colored skin. Her sloppy black hair displayed a woman's coarseness, her eyes a glossy black that displayed cruelty indicating her frenzy. She rode atop a black and odd ferocious beast. That beast was like an enormous lizard, but its whole body was of black scales, pervasive with an evil presence. It exuded a gloomy strangeness. The woman's hand hefted a double hatchet of dense ghost chi, her murderous aura skyrocketing. Astonishingly, she was the killer star Black Whirlwind Li Long Kuei. Black Whirlwind Li Kuei. Gong Kaiwei spat out several ice-cold words, her eyes completely lacking fear. Humph. The black ferocious beast below her hips made an ear-piercing bellow, rushed over. Its aggression violent without equal. Dark rank magic circle, family shifting sea-filling array. The leader star resourceful strategist Zhu Sha pointed a finger, and the 5 elements weather banner revolved to envelop their target. An array appeared under Li Longkuei's feet, and an enormous mountain suddenly pressed down on her. In the center of the array, churning seas that overflowed the heavens crammed into a radius of 10 li. Black chi soared into the skies. Zhu Sha's eyes moved. Li Longkuei still rushed out the array, however. The star beast beneath her legs nevertheless did not know when to stop. Killing intent manifested in Li Longkuei's eyes as she lifted the axe head to chop. The 5 elements weather banner turned and protected Zhu Sha. At this time, Gong Kaiwei also raised tracing snow to attack. The girl cultivated sword techniques ever since she was small, the tracing snow in her hand having gone through thousands of hammer strikes and hundreds of refinements. Even injected with the soul of a dragon, it could barely contend against a star weapon for a short time. Even if she was not like Su Xing who had inherited Lin Chong's battle doctrine, her fighting still was methodical. Her sword moves repeatedly flashed. Zhu Sha pointed her finger, and the magic circle simultaneously did not stop. Seeking your own doom. Li Longkuei blossomed with a grim smile. Bereaved immortal lofty slaughter wildly danced, and everything in the world changed color. The sky was hidden beneath the bright moon, and the faintly discernible palace also was washed. Ghosts wept and cried. Su Xing turned his head to gaze 1,000 li away where there was apparently an evil cloud, the hazy palace indistinct. Chai Ling's expression was inquisitive. It seems there is indeed a powerful star beast over there. Su Xing's heart had an anxiousness that was impossible to get rid of. Chai Ling also looked and gave a seeming smile. Then it seems truly that is misfortunate. Why do you say this? Because this palace has decided to capture her star beast here. Chai Ling faintly answered. Right here Su Xing looked around. The environment Chai Ling chose actually was not something he could fuss with. What he was expansive, mountains on one side and water on the other, with a beautiful and secluded atmosphere. But that place 1,000 li away faintly emitting black chi made him feel not particularly pleasant. Your time is already short enough. This palace also does not wish to do more than what is required. Chai Ling's good at understanding others' opinion naturally was not something Su Xing would decline. Before coming to Evil Smiting Hall, Chai Ling already made sufficient preparations. Using one day's time to capture a star beast, from the views of others, as far as the rank 10th noble star was concerned was perhaps a somewhat inconceivable matter. However, Chai Ling had positioned herself outside of the star duels. Regardless of the good and bad of star beasts, so long as she could become a complete star general. This was Chai Ling's desire. Thus, there was no fuss that a day's time was enough. Chai Ling took out a golden mill tray. This mill tray's name was Devil-Pushing Millstone, for as the proverb says, those with money can make the devil push millstones. Chai Ling's method to find her star beast was very direct. She would use the devil-pushing millstone to pile up gold to attract her star beast. The noble star's star beast had always been very easily attracted to flashy things. Using this sort of method to catch a star beast would not need to use even a day to be enough. But the sole weakness was that the myriad threads of light the devil-pushing millstone released was visible from even more than 1,000 li away. This sort of glaring light was exceptionally easy to attract the curiosity of others. If they encountered a powerful star master, with Chai Ling's capabilities, that would be certain death, so this was also why Wuxia would also tag along. If they had the Harm Star's assistance, there were few in Evil Smiting Hall who could be her opponent. When Chai Ling began to stack the devil-pushing millstone, Su Xing took out the shifting light mirror. A stream of light glowed, like the outline of a graceful woman sketched on paper, with a pen. Wuxia walked out from within the mirror, and along with her was the white and black unicorn tiger. Wuxia simply asked a question. Chai Ling was piling up a mountain of gold in Evil Smiting Hall. At this time, Su Xing and Wuxia were to only quietly stand guard in the surroundings. Stacking up a gold mountain was an endless and tedious matter. With regards to gold with its always brilliant luster, Su Xing had already lost interest. Entering and exiting Evil Smiting Hall 7 times. This trip with Chai Ling actually was unavoidably relaxed. His mind eased, and Su Xing felt unbearably weary, yet he found a place to rest in Saturday. Wuxia monitored Chai Ling for a good moment, also feeling this was dull. Leisurely, she glanced at the not at all attentive Su Xing pondering for a moment. She then delicately walked towards him. You truly have done your utmost, using 1 month's time to help them capture their star beasts. Now you have finally tasted suffering, have you not? Wuxia's voice was light as wind and clouds. Su Xing raised the corner of his mouth. This sort of hardship doesn't count as anything. Wuxia grunted. A faint green bottle landed in Su Xing's hand. This bottle is called 7 Lives Peaceful Mind. 3. Since you knew you were to capture star beasts 7 times, you should have known to prepare this sort of medicine. Wuxia's brow rose quite well. Her good wife and loving mother, care made Su Xing unable to help but smile. In actuality, he had prepared recovery medicines, however they were utterly inadequate. To say nothing of relying on medicines, they could only temporarily solve his emergencies. Fighting continuously for a long time, he could not recover at all using medicine. Su Xing thanked her and drank a mouthful of the 7 Lives Peaceful Mind. Wiping his mouth, there was a minty freshness, and his whole body had a cool feeling. What happened between you and Wu Xinjia in Evil Smiting Hall? Wuxia finally asked. Even the renowned Harm Star could not help but be astonished upon seeing the 9-tailed spirit fox. In the previous generations of star duels, the most commonly seen best star beast of the knowledge star had only been the likes of the white shadow demon fox and nothing else. The nine-tailed spirit fox actually was rarely heard of. For legendary star beasts like this one of the knowledge star, perhaps no arbitrary star maiden could capture one. Wuxia was honestly puzzled. There was only 3 days' time, so how could Su Xing have achieved this degree? Sit. Su Xing gestured to a stone next to him. Wuxia did not move a single step, seemingly unwilling to get too close to him. Su Xing yawned. He smiled and said, "I'm not going to eat you. I just want to borrow wifey's shoulder." What? Wuxia knit her brow. Unable to avoid Su Xing's gaze, Wuxia sat beside him. Her white clothes were untainted by even a speck of dust, and a serene orchid fragrance hung about her. Nothing more beautiful could be imagined. What happened between you two in Evil Smiting Hall? And there was the time with Ying Mei. Just what did you do to Ying Mei? Wuxia coldly spoke. Wifey, just what do you want to ask? Su Xing smiled. So you want to make your servant take action like this? Wuxia was somewhat displeased by Su Xing's flirtatious address. Su Xing laughed. It seemed Wuxia actually began to accept the idea of wifey. What is there, haven't we also taken a married couple's bath? I remember you yourself recognized our relationship, Xio. You, hearing that awkward incident, Wuxia's face turned cold, yet her ears grew hot. Although teasing an icy beauty was an interesting thing, Su Xing also knew to stop before going too far, so as to avoid ruining things. With Wuxia's personality, it was better for him to slowly warm the waters. Looking at Wuxia's enchanting red lips, he recalled the naked scene of her in the hot spring, and Su Xing's whole body burned with impatience. What happened with the nine-tailed spirit fox? Wuxia asked. Su Xing then repeated what he had said to Chai Ling half a day later. Wuxia slightly nodded, pensive. So it turned out to be this. The knowledge star has already manifested the 8 gates black gold chain. She paused. Her thin and cold pupils focused on Su Xing, as if she wanted to say something. In the end, she swallowed back her words. It seems your servant is somewhat unnecessary. She muttered to herself. Why am I so sleepy? Wifey, just what was that bottle of medicine you gave me? Su Xing suddenly felt his eyelids turn heavy, and Wuxia's figure grew fuzzy. That can recover your energy, but that is accordingly. You must rest. Wuxia softly said. I'm gonna faint, how can I sleep at this time? With your servant here, this place does not need your worry. Wuxia disdainfully answered. Su Xing's head was somewhat dizzy. A strong drowsiness attacked his mind, and in the final juncture, he forcefully supported his consciousness. He said, Wife, lend me a shoulder to lean on. Wuxia froze. Su Xing already leaned his head against Wuxia's shoulder, and he drowsily passed out. Believing in your servant this much will also make you taste suffering. Wuxia allowed Su Xing to lean on her shoulder. Her right hand flipped, and a bottle of wine appeared. She took it up, drank a few swigs, and her cheeks turned red as she talked to herself. A golden light blinded her, and Wuxia blinked. Chai Ling had finished piling up the devil-pushing millstone. The gold mountain's light enshrouded the wide expanse of field in a splendid brilliance. Chai Ling gracefully walked over. Seeing Su Xing lean on Wuxia's shoulder, she smiled yet seemingly did not. Has this palace gone blind? Unexpectedly, there is a man that would dare sleep on your body, Xio. He is the partner that Ying Mei has recognized. Your servant logically ought to look after him. Wuxia's tone was indifferent. Chai Ling certainly did not see things this way. At these two were flirty. If she were to speak out about this, no one would believe their relationship was not husband and wife. Just what is good about this man, for even the renowned harm star pilgrim Wuxia to be moved as well. Your servant also feels that is strange. Little whirlwind Chai Ling, you unexpectedly would consume the together to hell with him. Wuxia shot back. This question stumped Chai Ling. It is just that the golden light of this heaven-raising pillar is too blinding. Perhaps not only will it draw over star beasts, it could even attract other dangers. Your servant has only a single day's time to assist you. This truly cannot do. Then it seems this palace can only search inside evil smiting hall alone with Su Xing. This palace also wishes to know how fortunate she can be by being together with him. If this palace can encounter a star beast as unimaginable as the nine-tailed spirit fox, perhaps this palace will put herself into service participating in his star duels. Chai Ling poked fun at Wuxia. How could noble star little whirlwind Chai Ling know at this time that a fortune, sufficient to make her despair, was right in front of her? That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.